Welcome to the Brawlhalla Pro Series Draft Breakdown. The North American continent has been split into 6 major regions. The top 3 players in each region comprise the core and will be the deciding group behind who gets drafted. The draft is decided in reverse seed order, with each region picking from the top players across North America until they've completed their 6-man teams. Together, those teams will forge bonds through the fires of competition and rivalries with other regions, all competing for the glory and bounty that comes with being crowned the North American Pro Series champions.
It'd be so good. Oh no! That's it! Black team wins! The Pro Series is over! And Boomy, Remy, and Sandstorm are victorious! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Brawlhalla Pro Series Draft. This is the first time we've ever done anything like this. This is so exciting. And hey, by the way, same room to me and Taza?
Same room.
Oh,
real high five.
A real high five.
So excited for this. Foda, this is the first time that we've had anything like this in Brawlhalla Esports ever. The Pro Series and the first Pro Series draft.
The draft is like, so we've done a Pro Series in the past, right? But it was way different than this. This is a whole new format. Basically, forget everything you know about Pro Series. This is a whole new thing. The competition is completely different, totally different format, right? We got 6 teams of 6 players. But at the moment, each team only has 3 players, right? And that's what today's all about. It's the draft. Teams are going to take turns, one at a time, picking from a pool of players, many talented players in North America, right? But the 6 teams that already exist are teams of 3. We call them the core teams, right? And they've been decided by circumstance alone, right? The last Pro Series, people got to pick their teams and stuff, right? This time, we've got the first 3 out of the 6 total in each team have been decided by simply the sub-region of North America that they're in. And you saw it in the beginning of the video. Check it out. This is it right here. You can see how it gets separated, right? We got Team South down there, MDVA in the little bit red there, Team MDVA. And look, it's a small region, but it's concentrated, high-skill, concentrated area.
Right.
Team Northeast, top seed. Oh, man, Sandstorm, Santee, and Snowy. That's pretty crazy. It's triple S tier, literally, because their names, right? Get it? That's funny.
Yeah. And what's so exciting about this setup, right, is that each team, based off these regions, are combinations of players that we really would not be expecting to play together ever.
Exactly.
And in previous
Right.
Pro Series, because you're able to pick and choose your teammates, you got into situations where the best clung together because why wouldn't they? It's the best chance to be able to succeed here, right?
Obviously.
But now we've got a situation where, depending on where you compete from, is who you're going to be competing with. And that's what makes this draft so exciting, is because we're going to be in situations where, yes, the team might be Midwest, but let's see if they can pick some of the better players from other regions to really round out their team.
Yeah, we should be specific here that the players in the draft pool are not limited by their sub-region. The core teams were decided by the sub-region. So Sandstorm, Snowy, Santee, they didn't pick to be together. They just all are in the Northeast, and they're the top 3 players in the Northeast. The players that are being drafted can come from anywhere. So even though the core of the team is still Northeast, they're drafting from just the top players. We've got all the way from seed 10 to seed 61, or power rank 10 to power rank 61 here. Oh, I love that Sandstorm picture. Let's go.
That's epic,
That's the kind of attitude that we're trying to have throughout this whole Pro Series right there. Sandstorm is embodying it. Oh, man, look at Crocky.
Yeah, going through all the teams here. We got Team Canada, Crocky, Pugsy, XD, and Koslik. So it'll be the 3, basically
That's a
the
big
top
team,
the
dude.
top seeds of each region is what we're displaying here. And
then Remy, Cody, Big Bite Cody,
Big Bite
and
Cody.
Stingray. That's a powerful team, dude. This is crazy. We got lucky in how these teams divided up. Blazies, Exus, and Wubs in Team West. Look, that's a good team. They might seem like underdogs compared to everybody else. They are the lowest seed in this tournament, or in this Pro Series.
Pro Series.
Nah, we're not doing a tournament.
Right,
It's a whole Pro Series. It's going. It's going to take.
Well,
this
Team
is all
South.
lasting over a month, right? Team South, Noel, Ethan, and Pierre. That's going to be good. That's gonna be Noel and Ethan used to be a 2v2 team, so they already have a lot going.
And then finally,
Team Midwest,
Team
maybe
Midwest,
the crowd favorites, right? I know there's a bunch of Team Midwest fans out there.
It's close between Midwest and Northeast, I would imagine, for a lot of people. But what makes this really exciting, because we were having conversations about this internally before, right? I was talking to Duke, and he's a Team South fan because he's from that's where Texas and Georgia.
That's right.
And it's like he's of course he's rooting for Team South. But I mean, being born and raised in Indiana, I have to be going with Midwest. It just so happens that Midwest is really good going into this. But that's what makes this so fun for me as a fan of team splits like this when you're doing this region pride, is that you could be like, you know what, I'm from that area. I want that team to succeed.
You don't need any other reason, right?
Right. That's the best reason.
That's like pro sports, you know?
Exactly.
Right. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. I grew up in Miami. There you
go.
There does not need to be any more than that.
Yeah, that's true.
Obviously, people have favorite players, and that's also what this is all about. So pick a team, pick a side, and start rooting, because you're about to find out what those full teams are. And now let's talk about the draft order, right? We touched on it in the video a little bit, but the draft order is happening in reverse seed order. So the worst seed gets to pick first, next worst seed gets to pick, and so on. And when we get to the last one, which I believe it's Team Northeast is the top seed, then it goes back to the first pick again. It doesn't snake back. It'll be, here you go, right here. Man, we're getting good.
So
at
there's a lot of favor going into Team West being the collectively the lowest seeds on all of the groups. They're going to be able to get the best choices, or at least the largest array of choices there, right? Being able to pick the first time, and then the first time around again, right? When we get to south to Northeast, you see the arrows. It doesn't say that it's looping back where Northeast gets 2 picks like other drafts you might know. So really exciting to see what's going to be happening here and how the teams are going to be able to take advantage of their specific pick order. It's like going to be a whole game.
That's a whole little metagame. Yeah, we're not even going to watch Brawlhalla today, guys. The game isn't being launched. This is all this is all theoretical stuff happening with the pro teams.
Yeah.
So you saw the draft order there. After Northeast gets their pick in, they'll be the last one to pick their first player. Then it goes back to Team West, and we get another one. That kind of balances it out a little bit, right?
Yes, it does.
I mean, It's all a matter of circumstance. Who's playing with two? I think that's so exciting. We've got big names in this draft pool. I'm talking Java, Hardy MJ, Meg D, Lil Capt, I'm Llama, Van Thurl, Isidru, Zakoi, Tiffany, iThrow. These are all huge names. Zelky, STTP Wilson, Simba, Hazen, Dark Ghoul, Stimpy, Jetbean, Zinker. I can just read all of them if you want me to, but honestly, and even if you go towards the end, you go way down, Experience, Anime Fan, Luna, Ultra, Starlight, Impala, even way at the bottom, these are all stars, North American all stars.
And so what's awesome about this graphic as well is it shows you their power rank for 1v1s and 2v2s. You notice some really big disparities between some of these players, which could lead to some crazy, it's funny to say upsets, but I guess it's surprises and drafts.
Surprises.
Like if I take a look down there, if it's from top left and you go from left to right and you read all the way down.
Right.
But Parallel is a player who, I know you and I are familiar all the LAN events that he would go to, right? His singles PR not so high.
Definitely
His doubles PR
17.
That could be a surprise pick in the round 2 draft.
Absolutely. He definitely made it in here on his twos prowess alone. But that's the thing. A team might want to pick a twos player specifically for their twos team. Let's talk about the format of the combat that's going to happen. It's not happening today, right? We're just doing the draft. But when we get into July 10th, will be the start of the Pro Series, and then it'll happen every weekend in July afterward. The competition is formatted in a very special way, right? 3 of the 6 players will be on a crew battle team, right? And you know the crew battles. You guys have been playing it since it got released with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. By the way, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Brawlhalla. What?
Don't know if you heard.
Don't know if you
just released this week.
Those are 1v1 battles, right? So you want really 1v1 focused people to be on your crew battles team. But then 2 different people that cannot include any of those 3 that were just on the crew battle team, they need to be your 2v2 squad. They need to be able to win in a 2v2 set versus any number of people. Maybe they put their 2 best players on the 2v2 team while you were saving your 2 lowest seeded players for the 2v2 team. The picks are going to be a big part of the strategy in this whole Pro Series, right? So maybe they do want maybe Parallel gets picked way earlier than we're thinking just because they want a 2v2 centric player. They have 3 strong crew battle players and all they're looking for is a 2v2 team. Maybe opposite, right? Maybe like Team Midwest has some of the best 2v2 players in the game. Maybe Boomy and, maybe Boomy is going to be on the 2v2 team instead of in the crew battles like we might expect. He's going to take a really good 2v2 partner with him, and now he needs to fill out his team with some crew battle players and so on, right? And then the last slot in the team, the 6th slot, that's what we're calling the alternate pick. And let me be clear about what the alternate pick is here. Even though there's 6 players on each team, there's kind of technically 5. But this is an online competition due to circumstances, right? And we really want to be sure that the series doesn't get ruined by just one person's internet going down, or there's all kinds of problems that can happen online. And the alternate player is simply there to swap in case of emergency. A team does not have to forfeit if one person has some trouble. They can swap in there. By nature of this draft, the person who's getting swapped in as the substitute is the lowest seeded person on their team, likely. I mean, who knows what happens? They can pick whoever they want, right? But it will probably end up being the lowest seed person. So there's no strategic advantage to swapping in early like that, but it is kind of a break glass in case of emergency situation. And so, so the alternate player still getting paid. They're helping their team practice, They're with them the whole time, and they are just available in case there's any kind of problem. It would be so unfortunate if we had to have a forfeit happen in the Pro Series due to that.
It's a
5-person team, but the 6th guy, he's the MVP. We need that.
Something that I really like about the alternate position as well is it provides an opportunity, because we said we have a huge draft pool of players coming up all the way from PR 10 with Java all the way down to, like we said, with Parallel, PR 146 in singles. And so what can happen is if you find yourself as a player in that alternate position, you get a chance to represent a team and practice with players that you may not have been able to associate with so much more in the past. So it's a great opportunity having those chances to compete as well. Very excited to see how the draft's going to be playing out. And in case any of you just tuned in now, aren't exactly the best learners when it comes to explanations. You're a more visual learner. Brawlhalla.com/esports. Scroll all the way down and you get the full write-up of the Pro Series format and draft that's happening right here today. Make sure that you go and check that out if you want to refresh on any of the specifics of this format.
True that. Yeah, lots of good information on there. Whew! Okay, Pro Series Draft. How exciting. We have never done anything like this.
Right.
This is new for everybody here. Us, production, our casters, even the players. This is super new for everybody. So, really exciting. I think we're about ready to get into it. Right?
I'm ready.
Should we do this? Okay, so you guys saw the draft order. You know who's coming up first. Team West is going to be the first pick. We are checking with them now to see if the pick's coming in. By the way, guys, this is all happening live, okay? On a lot of draft productions, you might see they know in advance who it is. They got the clips to pick up. We don't know. This is all happening live. The players are this is a match they've never had before, right? Where they are actually competing against each other in a draft. If somebody picks who they were expecting to pick, now they need to suddenly have a plan B ready, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be wacky.
The entire time, we are in the dark, and we can only guess what they're going to be picking, and it's going to be exciting every single time.
Because we don't know.
There's an honest, I mean, I guess we're just getting right into it. When we're talking about Team West, there are two players that I'm really wondering who are they going to prioritize first. If we look at the top 5 players in the
obviously Java's the top seed in here, right?
But then we look at Megd, who's had the best performances recently.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And then Hardy MJ, who I mean plays with Blazy, right? So it's
That's right.
It's like,
oh yeah,
it's a hard.
He'll probably pick Hardy, right? For the 2v2. He's 7th. He is power rank number 7th in 2v2.
Yeah.
And he plays with Blazy. Wow. What's gonna happen?
Right.
Let's find out. Okay. Let's get on with the show. The Team West is gonna be the first team picking, and I believe we have the pick ready. So we're gonna head over to Duke, who has that pick for us. Duke, what do you got for us?
The first pick in the North American Pro Series, going to the West team from Pennsylvania, the number 1 draft pick. It's not just a programming language, it's Java!
Yeah!
That is actually
Java!
That comes to a surprise to me.
We were thinking Hardy MJ, right?
Or Megd, one of the two. Yeah.
Well, Java's obviously a solid pick. He's power rank number 10. He's the highest 1v1 seeded player in this whole thing. In the whole draft pool, he's the highest 1v1 seeded player. So we can't be too surprised that they're picking up Java here. His success has been very recent, and recent is important.
Yes.
Right? Because we know a lot of stars, right? And Java really started popping off mid 2020. And now here we are, mid 2021. He's only gotten better. So it totally makes sense. I agree with this big time. He's got that big top 8 placement, that top 8 placement. That was a big top 8 placement.
Java,
right? He took out every killer. That's the Winter Championship 2021. Second place, right? Out of nowhere. He had to beat so many amazing players to get through there. I'm not just saying that. I'm talking like Boomy. I'm talking like top people.
Yeah, so Java, and what's cool about this, that second place at Winter Championship 2021, there are very, very few players, I'm pretty sure I can count them all on one hand, if not two, that have actually taken down Sandstorm in winners or lower bracket in 1v1s.
Yep.
And Java is one of those players. He came into the beginning of the year just destroying the bracket in Winter Champs, surprising everybody, was stopped pretty brutally by Boomy. But if you are a team like Team West, where you're like, okay, if we're going into 1v1s and we want to have a wild card that could take down anybody, this is probably one of the best.
That's a good point. That's a good point, because they can put Java up against Sandstorm pretty confidently.
Yeah.
He's one of the few people who have taken him down in bracket, right? So yeah, this is actually a great pick. I think they're probably going to use him on the crew battle side. I still wouldn't be surprised if they had him as the 2v2 pick, and he might even be the anchor for their team, honestly. And that would be on you. I don't think in any other team you would have somebody who's not in the core team be the anchor. I think they might actually want to leverage Java for the anchor position, because when it comes down to it, round 3, if the crew battle goes one way and then the 2v2 battle goes the other way, the tiebreaker in the Pro Series is a 1v1 straight up with the 2 anchors of the team.
Right.
And all their positions are decided the week before on the Monday Esports Dev stream. So Java actually that's a great pick for Team
All they
West.
really get
like
to know before that the team selections there, right, with the doubles, crew battles, and anchor, is the team that they're going up against. It's not like something where you're live counter picking the players. So it's really good to have the strategy.
It happens before, and it's a little bit blind. They'll be picking without knowing who everybody else picked, right? For their positions. Look, we can talk all day about what we think is going to happen, but we've got some serious expert analysis for you guys with TWK. TWK, tell us, what do you think about this pick here, Java on Team West?
All right, so this one, not really coming out as too much of a surprise, Java being the top-ranked pick amongst the draft pool. And in a pro series where you have the heaviest hitters in Brawlhalla esports, who better to grab first than the Kingslayer himself? You said it before, in the Winter Championship, they took down Sandstorm, Wrenched, Cody Travis, all in a row, all who are appearing on other teams. So definitely an incredibly strong pick, but also does some serious work in the doubles space. Don't forget, top 8 in the World Championship doubles of last year. So definitely a really strong singles pick for the crew battle. A flex pick for the 2v2 just can do some serious damage all around. Now, I'm curious to hear what one of the core team members from Team West has to say about this pick. We're going over to Zexus, who has some words.
Number 1 for us is going to be Java. Java plays really strong off stage and has a good chance to get Gimps during the crew battle. A Gimp is obviously huge in a crew battle scenario, but he's also a really good pick for the tiebreaker 1v1, as he got second in Winter Champs and took out so many crazy good players during his run.
Yeah, so there you have it. Just definitely seems like they're going to be leveraging primarily for crew battle, potentially that anchor position. Some really exciting picks. If Team West didn't grab him during this first round draft, I'm sure one of the other teams would have just jumped at it. So now we're going to go on back to Foda and Taza as the picks continue.
All right. Thank you, TWK. That was some expert analysis. And also, we totally called it on that anchor thing, right?
Yeah, we did.
That is a smart play for Team West, I think.
Yeah.
They might be the only team who drafted an anchor pick. Because I'm sure in all the other teams, one of the core members is going to want to take that. Maybe Team Canada. I doubt it, though, right? You'd want Team Canada has like Kostlix. He kills it in 1v1, right?
Yeah, so TWK made an excellent point about how Java, we coined him as the Kingslayer, right?
Yeah.
Going through Winter Championships and how each one of the players that he knocked out are on separate teams. Because that's how these regions work, right? From each region is a heavy hitter. Java, because so recent of a heavy hitter, didn't get into the top 3 spots of any of those teams. So he's basically like, all right, well, we've got a top region player for draft, right? You could just take him for him. So Team West, of course, picking him up as, like you said, probably the only anchor player to be drafted.
Yeah,
in this
potentially.
entire process.
And maybe, on the week that they're going up against Team Midwest, they'll know that it's up against Team Midwest. And since Boomy was the only king that Java could not slay, maybe that's the one where he doesn't play anchor, and on that pick, they're like, okay, we know Boomy's going to be their anchor. So Java, you sit this one out. Or Java, time for vengeance, right? Time.
Yes. Oh, that'd be sick. Wow. What an amazing first pick coming out for Team West.
I love it. I think that's a very smart pick for them.
And now I think we're going to be entering a portion of the draft where I'm confident in saying this early on, right? We got the top 5 seeded players in the draft pool. I think that these 5 are gone,
maybe.
In the beginning. And so the question that I want to pose now early on is who in the next row is going to be the last one picked, right? There's 5 players, but there's 6 teams. So that means that Northeast, assuming that the first 5 teams that draft all top 5 players in the draft pool, which one from the next row is going to be picked?
Banthurl, Isidru, Zakoi, Tiffany, and Ithro. I don't know, man.
There's a lot of assumptions here because it's assuming everyone for the top row is good
we don't know. Yeah,
but
it's
fun to think about.
It's fun to speculate, right? Which is like the whole reason we're doing all this.
I feel like it would be a tie for me between Isidru and Ithro, as they are basically like the winningest vets in that row. I mean, we've known them competing in top 8s throughout years of Brawlhalla esports at this point. It'll be curious to see for sure.
Well, we know Team Canada's coming up next. You can see them right down here. Koslix, Pugsy, and Crocky. Those are all great 1v1 players. Maybe they're going to pick somebody more 2v2 minded like Hardy MJ, or maybe they'll be going with Megdy, because I think Megdy is actually in Canada. They have no obligation to pick somebody from Canada, but they might just want that.
So
they might just want that, right?
Here's a crazy pick that I'm pretty sure, I'm almost like 99.9% confident it's not happening round 1, but might happen round 2.
Okay.
Is that Luna, who is in the 4th or 5th row, might be drafted, much to our surprise, because Pugsy teams with Luna in 2v2.
That's a good point.
Yes.
That's a good point. We might be getting that surprise pick. Anything could happen. Anything could happen, and I think we're about ready to find out. So Team Canada picking next. We've got Duke with the pick ready for us. Duke, let us know what it is for Team Canada.
The second player drafted in the North American Pro Series. Going to Team Canada from Ontario, Canada, with a standing feud against Wrenched, it's Meg D!
Oh, Meg D! The Canada play. It's the full Canada play. That was the pick. Okay, this is a solid pick, right? Meg D is amazing. Similar to Java, a King Slayer. And Meg D took down the one king that Java couldn't take down.
Yeah.
Boomy, right? So maybe they'll even be using Meg D as the anchor position specifically for the match against Midwest. Who knows? But Meg D is obviously a solid pick, has been performing so well in recent tournaments, specifically even the Parsec tournament,
right?
The Parsec Invitational very recently, which did not count for power rankings. So that PR14 doesn't even consider the Parsec Invitational, right? Because it's an invitational. We can't have it be power ranked, but
there it is. There's the results.
The earnings are there, and everybody knows what. Look at that. Yeah, 4th place in the Parsec Invitational,
So,
3rd place in the Spring Championship. His success has been so recent. This is obviously a great pick because Meg D is totally on fire right now.
And this is why Team West's pick was a little bit of a surprise to me, was that because when I compared Java and Meg D in terms of how recent their winnings have been, Java was very much explosive at the beginning of the season, whereas Meg D has had the last 2 official tournaments as top 4 placements,
Right.
3rd in Springs and 4th in...
Grapes.
What is your favorite food?
Grapes are awesome, bro.
You know what? Team Canada just keeps getting better. So what an amazing draft coming out from them. But yeah, this is a really smart pick and probably the most obvious one. Now that I take a look at top 5, when we get into the next picks coming forward, moving on throughout the draft, that's where I'm going to start getting like, okay, who's it going to be? I feel like we could say confidently that Hardy MJ is going to be picked up by the next team. But before we even think,
Well, we're not even done talking about Meg D.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
find out from TWK, our pro expert analyst, from what's going on with Meg D. What do you think about this pick, TWK?
All right, another incredibly strong opening pick. I think a lot of people expected Meg D to get picked up in the first round, locking in the 3rd top-ranked spot as far as the draft pool goes, and everybody's talking about the 1v1 prowess. Definitely a bullish pick there because, listen, it's been 25th place at the World Championship, 13th in Winters, but then 3rd place in Springs, 4th place in Parsec. So it's been some serious top performances just recently as of late, and especially as you were mentioning, I think the other day, Parsec not having been a power ranked event does kind of shift up those numbers a little bit. So I also don't want us to forget, though, about the spring doubles. Meg D, depending on what team they're up against in which week, could place pretty well in a doubles team just because we see the 5th place finish during the spring championship 2v2s. So although I definitely agree with you, hardcore pick for any singles, the crew battle, the anchor positions, anything like that, you can't discount the flex potential. And I do really like Team Canada picking another Canadian, sticking together much like Meg D's favorite food, grapes. Now, we do have a couple words from one of the core members, Crocky, and let's see what he's got to say about Meg D.
So for the Pro Series, me, Pugsy, and Koslix talked a bit about who we want to draft as our number 1 pick if we get the opportunity to. And we came to the conclusion that Meg D looking like a solid choice. We debated about Java and Hardy MJ, but Meg D, with the way he's been playing in the community tournaments and official tournaments, he's just been playing out of his mind. The dude's been crazy. So, if we can get Meg D It's over. Honestly, that guy's a powerhouse.
Yeah, you heard it. Over, he's a powerhouse. All right, listen, I know a ton of people are fans out there of a lot of the Canadian pros. We've got Koslix, Pugsy, Crocky. They've all got their own fan bases, and they're definitely looking to expand on that going into this event. So I'm really just curious to see. But we've got 2 of the top 3 picks gone now in the first 2 picks of draft round 1. How is that going to shape up? We're heading on back over to Foda and Taza.
All right. Thank you, TWK. It's very good analysis. I actually agree with him completely on the flex aspect of all of this. He said, don't discount the spring 2v2. And I was like, oh my God, I totally discounted the spring 2v2. 5th place in spring 2v2. Yeah, we're talking about Megdi being an amazing 1v1 player, and he is, but also, wait a second, could definitely be an amazing 2v2 team with any of those 3 core members on Team Canada.
Yeah,
I think that's going to work out great. And yeah, the full Team Canada, 4 Canadians in Team Canada. That's good. That's well, I like that.
And so something that's exciting too, which I'm loving the player feedback in these videos that we've been getting, is Crocky saying that Megdi was their first choice going into this draft as well. So everything's going according to plan for Team
lucky
Canada.
for them, right? Because Megdi totally could have been taken by Team West, and then they'd be like, "Whoa, no, our first."
Right.
But yeah, it worked out for Team Canada, I guess. And then who do we got coming up next in the draft order? I believe Team South. Team South is coming in next.
Okay.
And who do you think Team South is going to pick?
So
that's Noel, Ethan, and Pierre.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Who might they go for now? I mean, obviously we're all thinking Hardy MJ. You know, is the next highest seed in this pick, but Lil Capped goes way back with Noel. I think Ethan respects Lil Cap's 2v2 play a lot. I mean, they have fought back in 2019 and early 2020. They fought against each other a lot in 2v2 tournaments, and I for the most part, Lil Cap came out on top. You know, Ethan was teamed with somebody else, and Lil Cap's teamed with somebody else. But I think maybe the respect that they have on Lil Cap for 2v2, they might be wanting to grab him just for 2v2.
And something interesting about Lil Cap as a choice too is that I have a lot of experience commentating Lil Cap's Bodvar play in all sorts of situations. Yeah. And I would say out of a lot of the pro players, and this is including everybody, including people that are already on teams, Lil Cap's the least likely to get 3-stocked in a crew battle stage. Lil Cap will consistently take 1 to 2 stocks a game, even if the game takes a little bit longer than most things. Lil Cap's a consistent player who can basically guarantee 2 stocks off of, I think, just about anybody that plays Brawlhalla. It might not mean that he's the most winningest, but he's also the most consistent when it comes to his
and consistency is key in a crew battle. You could be an amazing player, but if you're the type to rely on a best of 5, you know, where it's like, okay, maybe I won't win game 1, but I'll figure it out and then I'll get better. If you lose your stock, you leave your team in a very unfavorable position by not at least going even on the stocks, right? So yeah, if you're out there only taking 1 stock with your 3, you're really putting your team in a tough spot. Okay, well, we just got word from production that our next pick is ready. I'm dying to find out who it's going to be for Team South. So Duke, let us know what you've got from Team South.
Going to Team South from Ohio, the number 2 pick, it's Hardy MJ.
Okay, Hardy MJ. We saw this one coming a little bit. He's the next highest seeded player.
We were making a good case for Lil Cap, but we're both kind of like, it's the top 3 are the first 3 picks, and that's how it ended up here.
Naturally. It'll get spicier as we go on. The picks won't be so obvious. Yeah. But Hardy MJ, obviously a solid pick. 10 top 32 placements, and all of that's pretty recent. Hardy MJ really only got on the scene in like 2020. Well, he's been around longer than that, sure. He's definitely competing in ranked for much longer than that, but his breakout performances, you can see, it's like BCX 2020. That's mostly where he came into the spotlight. Yeah. He had been competing before that and placing rather well, but that was definitely his breakout performance in BCX 2020. People thought it was the Greatsword, but then Winter Championship 2021 comes around and he performs even better without the Greatsword. So, Hardy MJ, who's your first legend You got to Diamond. Hattori. Oh, I didn't know that. And I would not have guessed that either. I definitely thought he was a Scythe guy because he's so good at the Scythe.
I feel like in the early stages of Brawlhalla, depending on how earlier on you were playing, Hattori was like the demon to fight against. And right before Orion was a thing, it was like, oh, Hattori's keep using these down sig, and I keep falling into it, and I'm losing every game. Downlight neutral sig. Oh, and it was enough about that. Hardy MJ being picked up is really good there. And we saw from those tournament results that Hardy MJ was very consistently 13th to 7th. A lot of those 9th placements.
Yep.
And just taking a brief look at the spring championship, he's only losing to players like Stingray and Boomy, who are right at the edge of top 8, right? Like he's trying to break into being that top 8 player, and he's right at 9th.
He's right there. Well, hey, better than being a top 8 tournament player is being an all-star in the Pro Series.
Yes.
So welcome to the Pro Series, Hardy MJ. I think that's going to work out really great for Team South. But doesn't matter what we think. Let's find out from our expert analyst. Definitely getting it right now. Analyst, TWK, let us know what you think about this pick here for Team South.
This one's actually really exciting, just because Hardy MJ, yeah, sure, in the single space, always kind of finishing around that 7th or 9th, either side of that top 8 split point. But in the doubles space, there are some very notable placements. 4th place in the World Championship for doubles, 3rd place for the Spring Championship, the most recent official major that was open. So that places him as a really good 2v2 pick on a team that has some seriously insane 2v2 players. That is Team South, Pierre, Ethan, Noel. So Ethan and Noel, we always see them, tons of 2v2 placements. Ethan with his breakout performance when he teamed with Sandstorm. Noel always has the best team combos going on. So this one actually gives them a ton of potential that he could pair up with a number of their core members and actually turn out really well. The other interesting thing about that, though, is in the doubles space, that recent top 3 placement in spring doubles was with Blazy, who is on Team West. So that does kind of split up their 2v2 team. I don't know if this is maybe a little bit of a, hey, you guys are going to take Java, well, we're going to deny you one of your main 2v2 partners by picking them first. So it's a little shaky ground there. I'm curious to see. I don't think there will be any animosity, but maybe a little bit of a friendly rivalry going between Team South and Team West. So now I'm curious to see what Ethan has to say about this pick.
Okay, moving on to our 3rd choice, and that's going to be Hardy MJ. He's probably going to be our 1st round pick, honestly, because Java and Megdi are going to be picked before us. It wouldn't make sense for them not to. But if they do, we're going to get Hardy because we really need a 2v2 player. On our team, we only have Pierre, Noel, and me, and we are mostly known for our 1v1. So having a player like Hardy can really solidify us as a team, I think. So he'd be a really good choice.
Yeah, that sounds just about right. Going to bolster the 2v2 side since they do have a pretty solid core around that crew battle. So now for the rest of the picks, we're heading on over to Foda and Taza.
All right, thank you, TWK. That was some great insight, and you were right.
Yeah.
TWK was right. And as he was talking about it, I was like, oh, yeah, that makes so much sense. They need a 2v2 player.
Yeah.
Hardy MJ's the highest ranked 2v2 player in this whole thing. Oh, actually, Simba is. Wait a second. Simba, a little lower down there, but Hardy MJ, maybe more recent on his 2v2. It totally makes sense. Smart pick. And then Ethan comes on and confirms exactly what TWK was talking about. It's like, yeah. That's why he's the
So is it a little
analyst.
interesting with Ethan's analysis there? It's basically saying that the 3 players on his team were not strong 2v2 players. And I'm thinking, wait a second, you're all pretty good at 2v2s.
They are all pretty good at 2v2s.
I think the point that
I think it'll be Noel and Hardy, honestly.
I think something that TWK brought up that was really interesting to me, and we didn't really think about because the last 2 teams didn't really have this feature, is that Hardy MJ is a really good flex pick for 2v2s to where he could play with anybody on the team.
Yeah.
So going into any matchup any week,
they can just do what's
they
best.
can switch
for
and
the
match the
opponents
2v2 teams, and
up.
it could be a different team every week for all
Yeah. Who knows? Whew. Okay. All right. Hardy MJ, congratulations, making it in with Team South. Let's move on to our next pick here. Our next team coming up to pick. It's going to be Team MDVA. You were just seeing it on the screen a second ago. Team MDVA. That's short for Maryland, Virginia, for anybody who's those are 2 states in the United States. It's a small region, but it is concentrated with Brawlhalla skill with the people that we got in there.
Yes, it worked out quite conveniently. And now that I'm taking a look at our draft pool that we've whittled away the top 3 picks, as Ethan said, basically each team was going through their priority picks, and they were just looking at those top 3 being like, these are the ones that are going to go out of the way. Now that I'm looking at this with Little Captain I'm Llama being the last 2 in the row, I'm starting to think that there's a new top 5 here where I'm putting Van Thurl, Isidru, and Zakoi in that list where I'm feeling like all these players probably have equal priority.
Yeah,
and then there was the
Simba
Simba pick that you were talking about, the Power Rank 5
I didn't,
there in row 3. I feel like that's easy
I
to
didn't
miss.
consider that. I wonder if they're considering that because Simba is actually the highest 2v2 power ranked player in this whole draft. And the 1v1 ranking 32, but you can recruit Simba on your team and not have him play a single 1v1 match, right? He can just be your 2v2 team.
Yeah.
I wonder I bet if it gets to Team Northeast.
Oh, definitely.
They are going to, if no one grabs Simba by the time Northeast comes up, that might be the pick because Santi's on that team already. Santi and Simba is an amazing 2v2
Quadruple
team.
S? Is that what we're going to be getting?
Okay, well, I don't know.
Instead of Team Northeast just sizzling all the way
And who
around.
knows? I mean, just anything could happen here. I am excited to find out who it's going to be. I think we might be surprised on this next one. I don't think it's going to go right down the list of rankings here, but maybe.
If we had to guess, who would you pick that's going to be drafted by
If
MDVA?
I had to guess for Team MDVA, honestly, Isidru. I know that seems crazy, but I just think that's who they're going to pick. I think they like Isidru. I think he brings a level of mystery. No, not mystery. He fights in an unexpected way, right? Which wins in a crew battle because you do these unexpected things with a wacky playstyle like Isidru does in a best of 5, and they figure you out by the end of the set. Before the end of the set, they'll figure you out. But in a crew battle, you can delete somebody before they figure anything out, right? and then that puts them in the lead. So I'm thinking Isidru, but I'm
going with the grain. I'm going to say pick number 4 is going to be number 4, Little Cap. Little Cap.
That would make sense.
I'm going to be safe with it.
Too.
I like what you're thinking with this, Drew, and we got to throw it away over to Duke to find out who exactly it is going to be picked. Is it going to be my pick, Photo's choice, or is it going to be something completely different?
Are the teams still deliberating? Do we have the pick ready? Do we have the pick ready?
Yeah, the pick's ready.
We got picks ready. Let's go. Duke, let us know.
MDVA, the 4th pick and the 4th seed from Iowa. It's the purple trucker boat Var Little Cap.
You were right, Taza. You were right. Little Cap is the pick. That makes sense. That's a smart pick. It's a smart pick. But 15th, power rank 15th in 1v1, power rank 13th in 2v2. He's a real all-around pick for these guys. He can play any position they need him to play, depending on the opponents that they know they have that week. Maybe they'll swap around their positions. I think this gives them a lot of versatility, right?
Do you think Little Cap would ever be anchor on this team? I'm seriously considering it. I'm wondering in a situation where they would. Is there a team where they would specifically want him to go against them? Because I do agree with you. Yeah. I think Little Cap is an all-around, well-rounded player that you could put into any.
You could actually put him into any position, and he could succeed. But I'm thinking Stingray is going to be their anchor pick. He's a great 1v1 player, you know. Yeah. And then you got Cody Travis. I'm pretty sure they're going to have Cody Travis playing doubles. Because he's one of the greatest doubles players by a long. I'm a big fan of cheeseburgers, man. Me too, Lil Cap. Same, bro. Man, I love these questions that we're getting from the players here. Find out a little more. Are you a cheeseburger fan? Well, maybe you're a Lil Cap fan. You know.
I'm still. I mean, yeah, these are some great options, great answers. But yeah, so far, staying with the grain. And yeah, I may have been correct with my prediction. I'm gonna be real. It wasn't that out of left field. Right?
It was the next highest.
I'm just counting downwards, right? And so moving forward, I feel like our guesses, if we want to continue doing that, are going to get harder and harder, right?
Because it is, and I want to say, it's not all expected. Yes, we knew that Stingray, Cody Travis, Remy were going to pick Little Cap, or you anticipated it quite well, but. The next highest seed is I'm Llama, and maybe they'll go for I'm Llama, but I get the feeling that now we're going to start seeing some more wild picks. First round draft, and maybe it'll continue. There's still 2 more teams that need to select for the first round draft pick. Well, and maybe they'll just go with the highest seeds, but I get the feeling we're going to start seeing things happen.
And before we even get further to the draft pool, let's throw it over to TWK for the analysis on the pick for Little Cap for MDVA.
All right. Favorite food, cheeseburgers? That's an American classic, and so is Lil Cap. On a team of MDVA where we kind of have, players who had incredibly dominant eras through 3 different eras of Brawlhalla. Remy, then Cody Travis, now Stingray definitely up there as a contender. Lil Cap has kind of been around through all of them. Now, you may say, yeah, his PR is a little bit lower than some of the people that ended up getting picked as the core teams, but he is still around there. 1v1 power rank 15, 2v2 power rank 13. He can play a ton of different positions and is an incredibly solid pick. So I'm really curious just to hear some thoughts, and I know I just heard from production, we actually have the full team kind of given the laydown on Lil Cap.
Okay. So Lil Cap is obviously another very hot pick in this list. I feel like out of the highest PRs, right, like Magdi, Hardy, and the newer players, he's definitely an older, way older back player, right? He's been playing for multiple years now. I remember playing him in the second BCX, so he's definitely been around for a while. So experience is good. I feel like he's a really good person to work with as a team. And when in the last Pro Series with Team Purple, they actually ended up getting second. So I feel like there's no reason that he can't work with a team again, right? And he's switched through multiple teammates. He worked with Faison, then he worked with Ethan, then we've seen him work with Ithor to get second and to win a LAN. So he's definitely a really good pickup, and it only adds on that he can play both game modes.
I think Lil Cap's just really good because his fundamentals are actually just crazy. I think he's one of those people that, if you don't know the actual counter to beat him, then you just won't beat him. He's one of those people who are just extremely hard to beat. And his fundamentals are just crazy, so that's why.
He mainly plays Bodvar, and out of all the Bodvar players, he's the best one at that, besides Java. He knows all these matchup options with sword and hammer. He knows how to use signatures well.
And that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, yeah, it seems like a pretty solid flex pick, a lot of experience that they can draw from, and, really past placing very well in the Pro Series that we had previously, although it was a different format, so it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out this time for him. So it seems like a number of flex picks going out so far for the first round draft, but still some teams to choose, so we're back on to Foda and Taza.
Thanks for that, TWK. I really enjoyed hearing from the full team of MDVA. Yeah. They actually brought up a lot of points that I had not considered at all. One of the biggest ones being team morale. I mean, they didn't say it exactly like that, but Lil Cap, he's a cool guy, man. He's fun to hang with. Yeah. They're going to have fun playing together, and that's going to do a lot. We noticed that in competitions, when a player starts having fun, they start really winning, because you play a little differently, you do a little less, you do a little more stuff, and what they were talking about with his matchup knowledge, that is huge, because some players, they can switch to a new legend and kill it and do great, and they have a gimmick that people aren't figuring out, they need to figure it out. But Lil Cap, he's got years and years of experience of how do I fight exactly this with Bodvar.
Yeah.
That's going to go a long way.
And I like what Stingray was focusing on with the fundamentals and Cody Travis backing that up, which I think really reinforces the argument that I brought up earlier about how Lil Cap's a player that when you draft him, you're going to be guaranteed he's going to be taking 2 stocks at least with his game because he's so consistent at what he does. And if you don't know Lil Cap specifically, it's very unlikely that you're going to beat him. We saw all those placements in a row, consistent 13ths and above all the way through his tournament history. He is demolishing anybody that he comes against except for those top 12 pros. Really solid pickup.
Yeah, that's going to be good. All right, well, congratulations, Team MDVA and Lil Cap rounding out their first round draft pick. Let's move on to our next team. We got 2 more teams still for the first round of draft picks. It's going to be Team Midwest coming up next, the second-seeded team in this tournament, although you wouldn't know by looking at it because they are 3 serious powerhouses. I wonder who they're going to pick. I have no idea. Yeah. I cannot predict anymore.
It's interesting going into these final 2 teams in the first round of the draft, right? Because we've got Team Midwest and Team Northeast. And we were talking about this a little bit earlier. Their total seeds when compared to each other, right? If we look at the power rankings, is 17 to 11. And if you average that, it's this isn't exactly true, but it's like 3.8 to 4.2, right? It's like they're basically
They're very close.
They're so close on the seed average things that I'm wondering. These picks are absolutely personalized to the players that are going to be on their teams when we're going forward. And since the top 4 in the draft pool are gone, this is where I feel like if we were to make some predictions now
is when it's going to get spicy.
Yeah.
I think maybe I don't know. Amlama's still a great pick.
Yes.
But now it's less clear because even just the gap from Lil Cap to Amlama is a bit significant when you consider 2v2 as well. 1v1, Amlama is literally the next rank, next to Lil Cap.
I'm going to go with a hard prediction here. I'm going to say Midwest snipes
Simba. I was going to say the same thing.
Okay.
I think Simba is a hot pick, and he's real far down the draft pool order, and so maybe people aren't considering him. But honestly, taking Simba from Team Northeast seems like a really good play. But who knows? I've been so far every time a team has talked about why, I'm like, oh. So,
we've learned something new.
We're not considering everything.
So the one person that does know is Duke.
Duke has the draft pick.
Yeah.
Let's find out from Team Midwest who it's going to be. Duke, let us know.
The first round pick for Team Midwest from Ontario, Canada. It's your boy, Zakoy!
Oh, Zakoy the boy! That was not who I was expecting, but it totally makes sense. Zakoy, power rank number 26. What you're not seeing there is he's power rank number 9 in 2v2.
Right. And I guess that would be it's Sequoia and Simba that are both like there in terms of the 2v2 hard hitters
hard
in this
2v2
draft.
pick.
I think besides Hardy MJ, they're the only ones in the single digits on PR in this entire graphic. Now that
I'm thinking Zakoy might be 2v2 specific. His whole thing, I think, might be 2v2 for this team. And that would be a great way to utilize him, but who knows, man? Who knows? You know who might know?
Yeah.
Is some of these other guys like TWK and maybe their team. Because so far, every time they have talked, I'm like, oh, I had not considered that before. Oh, what's his question? Have you won any IRL competitions or esports event? He won Toronto Brawlhalla. Oh, okay. Remember the Toronto Brawlhalla lands? They were happening back in 2019.
Yeah.
It was a totally community-run event, but we sanctioned them and put in some serious prize pool money, and so some serious competition started happening. And even though we weren't there and casting it, you didn't see it on this main Brawlhalla channel. Those were some serious competitions that were happening out there. And Zakoy won it. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, that's an awesome pick. I am inclined to agree with you about it being like a pure 2v2 option coming up from Zakoy. But it would be exciting to see if they've got plans for him in singles. TWK, take it away with the analysis on Zakoy being picked up here in round 1 for Team Midwest.
All right, this one has to be an absolute doubles pick. I mean, when you've got a team that's the core of Boomy, Wrenched, Phazon, you've got some serious single powerhouses, and especially when they are on a team where all of their usual doubles teammates are split to the other regions just by that circumstance. You know, Boomy doesn't have Sandstorm, he's over on Team Northeast. Wrench doesn't have Koslix, that's up in Canada. Phazon doesn't have Cody Travis, that's over in MDVA. So they've got to bolster up their 2v2 stocks, and what better way to do it than grabbing one of the main powerhouses. You see Zakoy power rank in 1v1's 26, but power rank in 2v2's is 9th. That's absolutely insane when you consider the fact that so many players were already selected for the core teams. And this also has a little bit of the benefit of denying the team of Snowy and Zakoy from Team Northeast, who is set to pick next. So I'm just curious, all this strategy that goes on, you know you're always expecting it when you've got players like Boomy or Phazon, you know, Wrench, they even discuss a lot of strategy on their streams. So I'm curious to hear some of that from Boomy.
At the kinds of people who are going to play well against pro players, people that are actually going to be in this series. So you look at some of the people, like the list of the 35 players is it's ordered in PR, but PR is not necessarily a good indicator of the players that are going to be good in this format, because some of the high PR'd players do not get that high PR by playing against top players. They get it through long periods of consistency. For example, someone like Van Thurl, he is consistently like 17th, 13th, but he doesn't have like a big win against any pro player. So you wouldn't want to pick someone like that because they haven't like proven themselves against pro players, if that makes sense.
All right, so Zakoi definitely in that category of having proven themselves against a bunch of top teams. You know, we've seen some of those top 3, top 4 placements in the doubles space. So incredible pickup for this first round pick. Going on back over to Foda and Taza.
All right, thank you, TWK. That's good insight. And from Boomy, some general thoughts there. He didn't have a full-on thing for Zakoi specifically. These other guys might have been pretty confident in getting those picks, right? So
Right.
So good thoughts from Boomy. He's got a point. You know, maybe you want a Kingslayer in here more than you want someone who consistently makes a pretty good power ranking. But that's Boomy. I'm sure that other people probably feel a little bit differently about that.
It's a curious point that you brought up that I really didn't think about when looking at these power rankings. And as power rankings are completely based off of how deep into a tournament bracket that you can run. And one of the first things that you said, opening up the Pro Series draft, is like, this isn't a tournament. It never really won't be a tournament. It's a Pro Series. And you're going to be put in these matchups where you didn't grind your way through 30 or so people that are on the up and coming to get to that point where you get that 17th place to lose to.
You're just going
Boomy
right up to the best people.
Or Cody, right? So I guess and now that we're this late into the draft and we're almost into round 2, I imagine
he's coming up next.
A lot of the teams with the top 3 players from each region are going to be thinking, okay, of who's left, who am I actually like not looking forward to face in bracket? Is that somebody that would actually challenge me?
Yeah.
And then you ignore the
just
power ranking
them.
and you just look at the person like, this person almost beat
I
me.
don't want to fight Luna. Let's just grab Luna, right?
Yeah.
So Team Northeast is coming up next, and they're the last team in the turn order here because they are the highest seeded team in this whole thing. Altogether, if you add up all of their 1v1 power ranks together, it's 11.
Yeah.
And that's lower than single people on the other teams.
Yep.
Like this is a very, very high seeded team, and it's not even considering the Parsec Invitational, where both Sandstorm and Snowy were the ones in the winners final. They made it through the whole tournament without losing a single game, and they're on the same team.
There's only one player in the entire draft
We
pool
know
who has a lower seed than their collective seed, and that was Java, right? Like that's
crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, altogether they are better seeded, even if you add all of their seeds together, than anybody on the draft pool.
It is
but
if not a fan favorite, if you were a betting man, it would be you would be going on Northeast when it comes to that. But let's see what they pick here, because TBK brought up a point that I didn't even think about. Right, sniping Zakoi from Snowy as well. That was very interesting.
Yeah, totally.
I didn't even think about it when looking at Simba. We saw Simba and we just completely ignored Zakoi right above him. Right?
You're right. But I am here thinking Simba's the pick.
I
don't know what they're gonna pick, and I'm not saying that I predict that they'll pick this, but I'm saying if I was on Team Northeast, I'd be like, dude, we gotta give Simba and Sandy. That's our twos team. They're the only. They have the chance to be the only pro team in this whole pro series who have a static 2v2 team on their team.
So let's play devil's advocate for both of us, because we're in agreement 100%. If it weren't going to be Simba, who would be the next best pick that we think would come from this roster?
Oh, Ithro. I think Ithro, yeah.
Ithro or Isidru, probably. One of the two. You think Ithro over Isidru?
I think Ithro over Isidru. You're saying Isidru.
I'll say Isidru.
Okay.
You say Ithro.
All right. Well,
I'll say Isidru for the same team morale reasons that you said the little bit. All right. Let's find out.
Let's find out. Yeah. Duke, let us know who the draft pick is, please.
For the Northeast region, the last pick in the first round, from Illinois, LTC and Taekwondo champion, it's not Mufasa, it's Simba!
Yeah, we were right. We were totally right. Yep. And what an awesome intro from Duke on that one.
Yeah.
It's not Mufasa, it's Simba. Power rank 32 in 1v1, but don't even worry about that. He's power rank number 5 in 2v2. Mm-hmm. That is huge. That's huge. And they have a static team now. Of course it's going to be Simba and Santi on 2v2. Now what Northeast needs to do is fill out a good crew battle team, right? Because you got Sandstorm. Obviously, you're going to have Sandstorm and Snowy doing 1v1s. That's a given, right? You got Sandstorm probably anchoring, but maybe it's probably the players have Sandstorm be your anchor. So who's going to be their next pick, right? For all of this. But this Simba, this is an obvious
I'm
great
like
pick.
taken aback by how great. Look at these notable placements coming from. I'm taking back on how great this draft ended up being for Northeast, despite Northeast seed being so great. Because if the other teams didn't pick the top 4 players that they did in that row, of course it'd be great for Northeast. But if they took Simba, they could very well, I mean, it could work out well for them, but they could very well just grief themselves and Northeast instead of providing them any benefit. That's how amazing this worked out for them, because Simba was right there to where, like, Midwest looks at this as like, okay, we're going to either take Sequoia or Simba, because both of those work beautifully for Northeast.
Right.
It was just, they were going to get one of their teams.
Well, Sequoia definitely seemed like a good pick for them. This did work out for Northeast.
Yeah.
This whole turn order thing was designed to mitigate Northeast's power, basically, right?
I mean, you
want number 1 seed to have last pick, right?
Yeah.
Just for balance. But it really works out for Team Northeast that they got not only a great 2v2 player, but Santi's static teammate.
Yep.
That is so good.
You know what that means? There's only 2 players left that Northeast could draft, and that's Stimpy or Starlight. Otherwise, they break my heart, because then we won't have
the quadruple, the quintuple S.
That's it. Don't let me down, Northeast.
Only allowed to pick from the S's.
There's only 2 left. If the other team
congratulations to Team Northeast. What a great pickup. We'll see what the rest of the draft has in store for them, because they're going to have to wait now another 5 picks before they get to go again. And so first round draft pick is done. Now it's time for the second round draft pick. And this is their 5th player that we're grabbing, right?
Wait, right before the second round, we have to make sure that Team UK tells us some insightful stuff. That's right.
I was about to move on. Wait. Cancel
we apologize, Team UK. We were so confident in the Simba pick that we were like, we don't need any analysis. No, we need this analysis. What do you have to say about the pick coming out for Team Northeast?
I don't blame you at all. This one is so face value. Yes, the right call. Doubles achieved. I mean, it's Simba and Santi, 3rd place in the World Championship, 3rd place in winter doubles, 5th place in spring doubles. You're absolutely right. This is the doubles team that is the highest that was possible to be formed just through draft picks, because all the other ones are split up. The field is wide open. This feels like snapping one of the Infinity Stones in place. How are you going to be stopped? This is just absolutely crazy. It's the start of the puzzle pieces locking in. What better time than the close of round 1 of the draft? Now, this does set them up incredibly well, to the point that I wouldn't be surprised. I'm fully expecting every single week the doubles team for Team Northeast is just going to be Simba and Santi. Like, that is just a solved equation. That's who you put out there, and then you just figure out crew battle, and then maybe the anchor, I don't know, that might also be a little bit solved. It just seems like they have an incredibly consistent formula that's shaping up for them. So I'm really curious to see what one of the main core members of that team. We're heading over to Sandstorm and his thoughts on Simba.
And last pick, I would draft Simba. Again, doubles Simba and Santi, been teaming for a while. That would be really good. And in ones, he has like kind of has like this, like a wild card factor. Like, he could just dumpster on someone just cause, like, the way he plays. I think Simba would be an interesting pick, as a draft as well.
All right, yeah. I mean, that absolutely just makes sense. I do also like how he had the massive world championship checks hanging in the background. He's got quite the setup. And now they've got quite the team setting up as we're heading now into the round 2 of draft picks. Foda and Taza, what do you got for us?
So, Foda, do you think that Sandstorm has his room like that all the time, or did he just set it up specifically for that
No, I think he's got it like that. He's got a huge trophy case with a bajillion million trophies on there. He's got all those checks in the background, which don't even come close to adding up all his total earnings in this game. Over $160,000 has been earned by Sandstorm in Brawlhalla Esports, and that's just been since the end of 2018. Here's your first round draft picks, everybody. Congratulations to these players. This shook out in a very interesting way. For sure, especially for Team Northeast. I can't believe how, I mean, they should have had, this was designed so they'd have the worst pick, and I think they maybe got the best pick they could have. I honestly, this may be over almost anybody else for them, right? Specifically for them, if I was on their team, I'd pick Simba over maybe even Java. I know that sounds crazy, but Simba really fills out a necessary position for Team Northeast.
Definitely.
It's huge.
And if you told me that this draft happened in reverse order, I honestly could believe you. That's how this ended up playing out. And that's just how great some of the players that were available for this first draft were. I think the only thing that really fooled us was the order in which they were drafted for the first three.
Yep.
I really thought that it was going to be Hardy MJ or Meg D that was going to go over to West. Of course, after hearing the analysis from Zexus and TWK,
totally made sense.
Java made a lot of sense. But
totally
it was
made
exciting to have those opportunities to learn about that. And look at that.
Check it out.
The graphic begins to get filled out. 1 of 3 drafted players is now confirmed for each of the teams all across the U.S.
Nice, nice. First round draft pick done. We're a third of the way there. Time for the second round draft picks to start. Whew, okay.
We're running out of obvious choices here. Besides Team
at this
Northeast.
point, yeah, we're shooting in the dark. And now it's going to get really interesting. So we're looking at these teams' 5th player, right? This either could be their final 2v2 team pick or their final crew battle pick. I don't know. I don't think they're going to be grabbing any anchors from here. I think we know who all the anchors are for each team at this point. But we're finding now these are going to be the last draft picks for like the static players of the team, and then our third round draft picks will be for the alternate players. So who do you think here? Team West is coming up next, right? They're the lowest seed.
I think that there are 3. We've got our top 3 again that are going to be picked by the first 3 teams no matter what. And that's going to be Issa Drew, Tiffany, and iThrow. That's going to be my call.
I don't know.
There's a strong
Luna's
chance.
looking like a good pick. Also experience.
That's right. We were talking about
There are
that.
some big names that are low in these seeds that, like Boomy was talking about, you want somebody who can just win against a pro,
Team Canada
not somebody who
almost certainly
consistently makes it through the through the open tournaments, which is very difficult in itself, right? We've seen a lot of amazing players who can defeat all kinds of pros, not be able to make it into top 8 of an open tournament because of all the obstacles. But leading up to that, it's almost a different game competing against. Brawlhalla is very much your opponent is the game in front of you, right?
And so something that's interesting that you're bringing up about this now that I think about it is this second pick is incredibly important because this is the last pick that they can have that's truly a flexible pick, right?
Yeah.
In rounds 1 and 2, this player can be anywhere in your team.
Right.
But when we get to round 3 and it's time to pick the alternates, you're not just going to like, oh, I suddenly want to make
it's who
Simba
can
my
help us
alternate,
practice
right?
is who's going to come in clutch, who's the most clutch player who can save us if we lose an important player.
on Team Canada can't draft Luna round 3 and make him his 2v2 partner. That's just not how it's going to work. Luna would have to be on the alternate position. And that's why when it comes to this round 2 pick, it's really going to be like, okay, they could go for a higher seeded player, or do they want somebody more particular for their overall team strategy? That's going to make this dynamic very interesting indeed.
Yeah, I wonder. Well, I don't think we have to wait anymore. Production tells us the pick is ready. Team West has chosen their teammate, and Duke is going to let us know what it is. Duke, what you got for us?
The first player selected for the second round of the draft, going to Team West. The 15-year-old from New York likes chicken bones with the power of the moon. It's Luna!
Luna.
Wow.
Likes chicken bones.
Wait, this is such a crazy pick.
This is pretty big.
They sniped Canada.
They did snipe Canada.
They absolutely sniped.
I think they did.
I'm so excited for this too because I was wondering if we were going to get into that part of the draft where they start griefing other people. That's a totally reliable strategy.
Yeah, Luna would have been the perfect pick for Team Canada. It would have been out of nowhere. This is even more out of nowhere. This is steal it from Canada. But look, I mean, that's just our opinion on it, right? I'm pretty sure from TWK and from actual Team West, we might be hearing something different. Check out these placements. 9th place in the Mammoth Cup. That was the real breakout performance from Luna, and has still been improving. I mean, Luna, what you're not seeing in here are the community tournaments. Luna wins a community tournament like it's nothing. Like he just walks in there, has a good time, and wins, and then goes and hangs out with his friends. Like he's chilling in those community tournaments, and those community tournaments do contain serious top talent. For many of the top players, it's their in-betweens. It's what they get to compete in. Maybe they'll try a different character or something like that, but they're going hard and competing in these tournaments for the continuous experience of competing in a high-stakes tournament, right? And Luna wins those, and so you're not seeing those in any of the stats. Community tournaments don't get factored into recent placements or power ranking or anything like that. So that seems like a good pick for Team West. I am interested to know what our expert analyst thinks about this one. TWK, Give us the lowdown.
All right, using the second round draft pick to secure a really solid doubles player while denying that player from their usual teammate. Incredibly strong open for round number 2. Now, last round they did end up picking Java, who, incredibly strong for the anchor position, amazing 1v1 for the crew battle, so now they're looking to shore up their doubles space. And Luna, consistent top 8s. The most recent one was a top 8 in the Spring Championship with Pugsy, who's over on Team Canada, so it does have a little bit of that double flavor going on of what's good for us is bad for you. And now we've got some extra thoughts on that. Oh, all right, never mind. We've going to be hearing from Zexus a little bit later on some of the other picks. So that kind of sets up round number 2, the first pick going Luna for Team West. All right, Foda and Taza, how's it going?
All right, thank you for that, TWK. We psyched you out on that one. Thought we had a clip, we didn't have a clip.
Well, and I think TPK echoed and added on to more of our thoughts, which was that it was a really solid round 2 pick that also took away from giving one of their competitors from having a really strong edge. We just saw that would happen with Northeast. No reason to let it happen to Team Canada if you don't have a better pick lined up. Absolutely wonderful pick in that draft.
Yeah, I agree with it completely. And that's. It's still an unusual. Look, we were going down the list of PR, right? There is about 20 people, more than that, 30 people between the person who was last drafted, right, or the lowest seed who was drafted, which was Simba, to Luna. I mean, there could have been a lot of other people between Simba and Luna, but they went with Luna for a very specific purpose. I think you're right.
And it's astonishing to me because I was thinking that even Team Canada had a chance to not pick Luna. So that's why I was like, they must have really, really confident.
So now they might have to switch it up. I mean, if they were thinking Luna, now they're going to have to pick something different. You can see the seeds here. Look at Luna way down there on the bottom right.
Row 5.
And then when we were looking at the first round picks, you see obviously, Java, Hardy, Meg D, Lil Cap, makes sense. They're all way up there. So now what's Team Canada to do? If they were going to pick Luna to have their static teammate, because that's Pugsy's partner, right? Now they have to fall back on a plan B, and maybe that plan B is I'm Llama, the next highest seeded person. Maybe it's another one of their friends. Maybe it's somebody else they think it could work with at 2v2. And we do not have to wait anymore. Production has told us that we have the pick ready. Team Canada has chosen their next player. Duke, please let us know who's it going to be.
The second round pick for Team Canada. From Ontario, Canada, he dropped the Ows. It's Ithro!
Oh my God.
We should have seen this coming.
It's the full Canada team.
It's so
they
Canada.
got the full squad, dude. Ithro. Oh, man. That is wild. 29th PR in 1v1, but 13th in 2v2. I think they'll be using Ithro to fill out their 2v2 squad.
Yeah.
Maybe with Pugsy. Probably with Pugsy.
I mean, there's a lot. Ithro is a little bit like Little Cap in the sense of he has had success in all types of Brawlhalla competition.
Well, also, Crocky and Ithro have teamed together in tournaments before, haven't they? Yeah.
Yeah, Ithro's a great player.
This is good for a couple reasons.
I love that we're getting so many of these like meme dream teams coming on with Northeast with the
I love it. I love that they went
Team
full Canada.
Actually Canada. So I'm wondering if they can, even with the players left, get up to 6 Canadian players. I believe they can.
Oh yeah, their alternate should totally just be someone.
We've got
from
what
Canada.
is your proudest accomplishment in Brawlhalla for Ithro? Winning DreamHack Montreal 2s.
Oh,
That's right.
I remember
And
that
of course,
so vividly. I remember that
because it was Canada that he won in too, right? That's
right. It was in Canada where,
Oh my goodness.
and that was Ithro and Lil Cap when they were teaming, and that was the first time that Boomy and Sandstorm as a team had been defeated at a LAN. It was Ithro was the first one to take them out. So definitely a solid 2s pick. I love the Canada theme. Team Canada's got it going on.
Team Canada's literally Team Canada.
That is great. Yeah, that's great.
There's going to be a moment where people didn't read the draft rules and they're like, well, Canada's got all Canada rules. What's going on with these other teams? It's like, no, they just...
Logistically impossible, but Canada figured it out.
Yeah, right. Well, that's awesome. Let's hear
That
what
is
TWK
cool.
has to hear about that pick coming up. Really excited to hear the details.
Yeah.
Everything's coming up Canada. Just more Canada all the time for Team Canada. I absolutely love this. It's an incredibly strong doubles pick. You said it before. One DreamHack Montreal in the doubles space. Always places consistently well for years. Playing with Lil Capped, who is actually over on Team MDVA from that first round draft. So gonna have to flex around for a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see who they pair up with the 2v2, because I definitely see Lil Capped as a 2v2 pick, potentially with Pugsy. I really think that could be a strong composition. They're both incredible doubles players that can kind of adapt to most of whatever is thrown at them, especially in such a short up-and-coming set like you're going to have in the Pro Series. Now, for a little bit further on this, we're going to take it over to Crocky from Team Canada.
iThrow, you know, everyone loves iThrow. There's nobody that doesn't like iThrow. He's the #1 player in everyone's hearts, you know. So those are going to be our top 8 picks, and we'll be lucky if we can get any one of them. Hopefully, they don't all get picked first, and yeah, we'll have to make some decisions, but it's looking good. It's looking good because we get second pick, you know, so that looks clean.
All right, #1 in the hearts. That just seems to be the running theme of Team Canada so far. A ton of fan favorites, and they keep filling out that roster in similar fashion. I'm curious to see if the later rounds they're going to keep it going all the way Canada. I'm with you, Foda and Taza. I want to see that. So how are you guys doing back over on that desk?
Thanks, TWK. Yeah, Team Canada. I love it. I love what they're doing there. That's awesome. They are being led by their hearts, I think, more than their minds here on this one.
What better thing to be led than by your hearts, right? When going into this competition.
Follow your heart.
Follow your heart.
People
have a good time with the
say
tournament.
that.
And Crocky is speaking out to like how, because I was saying same thing with Little Cap, right? It's like that morale pick. Like you're gonna have a good time having him on your team no matter what. It's the same thing for iThrow. iThrow has been such a riot in any land that we've ever gone to. Definitely a fun player to spar with, play against in tournament or otherwise. And now they've got him on Team Canada, making it 5 out of 6 players on Team Canada that are from Canada. I'm still reeling from that.
Are there more Canadians on the board? I hope. We'll see.
Yeah.
That's 5 picks from now. We'll get back to that. We are ready with our next pick. What's the next team coming up? Team South.
Team South.
Team South.
Yeah, we're
What's it going to be for Team South? The third-seeded team, Pierre, Ethan, Noel. I don't know, man.
Want to take a quick guess because it's kind of getting difficult.
Oh yeah,
I would like to say it would be Isidru or Tiffany. Van Throl and I'm Llama are options there, but I for some reason I got a feeling in my gut that Isidru is going to be the pick here coming up. We were talking a little bit earlier about how great his axe play is with just being able to be that wild card in the crew battle.
I think he's great for the crew battles, honestly.
Yeah.
And Team South, you know, they already, with their last pick, they went full on 2v2.
Yeah.
So maybe now they're going to fill out a good crew battle position. I would agree with you, Isidru there, but something's telling me Tiffany.
Ooh,
Something's telling me Tiffany. Maybe I'm Llama too. I mean, obviously the 1v1. Do they want an all-around player or do they want a 1v1 focused player?
Yeah,
right?
I guess that's where
we're going to find out. Well, Duke has the information, and I would like to know. Duke, let us know. Who's the next draft pick?
The second round pick for the South, the 19-year-old from New Jersey with 1,400 ELO in chess, serving up a pair of dubs. It's Parallel.
You know what? This is awesome because this was like one of the first points that we brought up at the beginning of the entire stream, which was just like, even though Parallel's 146 in singles, right? He's got that 17th place seed where he has made incredible upsets in the double space, including at offline tournaments. I still remember, I think it was like Shine, where Parallel was teaming with Matt, I believe, with Asuri, just doing so well in doubles and knocking out some really tough teams.
Parallel kills it in doubles. And you can see PR 146, like, don't even pay attention to that number because he's seeded 17th. He is power rank 17th in 2v2. And he just hasn't even been playing 1v. He hasn't been entering into the 1v1 tournament. So, of course, his PR has gone down there. That's not why he made it onto this draft list. He made it on there for the 2v2 specifically. And it seems clear now that Team South might have been specifically looking for a 2v2 player.
Let's see.
What's this?
He says, have you won any IRL competitions or sports events? And he says, I've won enough Kung Fu money matches at BCX to buy myself food for the weekend, as well as a volleyball tournament in 8th grade. Parallel knows what it's like to win.
He knows what it's like to win.
You can look at that. Getting enough money matches in Kung Fu to buy himself food for the entire weekend.
That's hilarious. Money matches
Wow.
in Kung Fu. Now, look, I know because I have 1v1 parallel in Kung Fu before and lost. I was like, I was winning at the beginning, and then he like switched to his actual character, and then he totally whooped me. Wasn't a money match, but I totally believe that he was winning all kinds of money off of people at PCX 2020. That's hilarious. Parallel out of left field. We did not predict that in the slightest.
Absolutely,
but
a
that's
double
a great.
pick, though.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that Team South, they look at this. They filled it all out here. Pierre, Ethan, and Noel for the crew battles. All they were looking for this draft was a 2v2 team. And I think they picked a great 2v2 team. They got power rank 7th in 2v2 in Hardy MJ, power rank 17th with Parallel. I think Hardy MJ and Parallel could definitely do some major damage to any one of the teams.
I didn't realize it, but Parallel was the highest remaining double seed.
Right.
In the entire draft.
I think that's why they went with him. What do you think, TWK? Let us know your expert analysis and why Team South went with Parallel here.
100% a doubles pick. I mean, Parallel, yeah, you're right. Not too much to be seen in the single space, so I don't think we're going to see Parallel put forth in the crew battle segments. I don't think we're going to see Parallel as an anchor, but definitely every single week in the doubles. Now, I am going to disagree a little bit. I think we could see in the doubles Noel and Parallel. That's who they've been teaming as in the past 2 tournaments, Winter Championships, Spring Championships, with their highest placement being 5th place there. So I think that's an incredibly strong doubles team. They've got the option. Again, probably a player that could flex around to a number of them. They grabbed a flex pick earlier on, so definitely some certain options. I think we could see it change week to week depending on who they're going up against, but Parallel is always going to be filling in that 2v2 role. It looks like we have Ethan with some thoughts on that specifically.
Another solid sleeper ones pick in my opinion is Parallel. He does really well against a lot of people, and in a community tournament he also beat me and a lot of other big names and went game 5 with Hardy. So I definitely think he's someone that could play really well in these crew battles.
I did not expect that at all. A sneak crew battle pick? I guess it kind of goes on to what you're saying from one of the Boomy clips, where it's like sometimes you got to pick people that might have an upper hand, some kind of a dark horsepower against some of these top pros that maybe don't get to fight them quite so often in bracket. That's a really interesting take. So this round 2 has been pretty spicy so far, and we've got plenty more to sprinkle on. Back on over to Foda and Taza.
Wow,
Thanks, TVK.
That was we were like, what? So that we went on a roller coaster there. We saw Parallel and we're like, that makes sense. They're all playing in the crew battle, and they picked a 2v2 team to draft it out. And then TBK's like, actually, Parallel and Noel are a team, so this makes perfect sense that they got a 2v2. But then Ethan comes on and gives us the real down low on this, and it turns out he's a sleeper crew battle pick.
Yeah.
Nobody expected that, but it totally makes sense. His power rank is low in 1v1 because he hasn't been competing in tournaments, but you just heard Ethan talking about it, how he's taking these top players to game 5. You know, he could defeat them, especially in a crew battle where sometimes all you need to do is go even to win it, right? And plus Hardy MJ, we're talking about him like he's this 2v2 specific pick, but really he's power rank 12 in 1v1. So he's just an all-around good pick, and they could have him flex anywhere on this team. Wow, Team South has maybe the most versatility of any team out here.
Dipping down all the way into the 6th row. It picks him. And to think
Yeah,
in
it's
round
way down
2,
there.
before alternates, Luna and Parallel are picked. It's really showing how, like, yeah, sure, round 1 was a little predictable, but now we're getting to round 2 of the draft, and all of these players are thought of differently from the teams that are drafting them. They've got so much more insider knowledge on how they play and how they compete against them than we do, obviously, being we're just watching the tail end of the tournaments. We have very little idea of the experience that these players go through, and that experience from Ethan was such a surprise to all of us. It was awesome, actually.
I am glad we got some insight from him on that, because we talked all this stuff. I think we made good sense of it.
I think it was a good
case.
case.
We were wrong.
Yeah.
They got him for the sleeper crew battle pick. And hey, there still might be a reason to put him in on doubles, depending on the team that they're fighting that week. But that was a surprise. Okay. All right, Team South. That's good stuff. Let's move on. Our next draft pick is ready. It's going to be Team MDVA is going to be filling out their second draft pick here. Altogether, their core team is 26 in seed. Power rank, just accumulatively all.
I don't know why I said that.
That's a weird number to give.
It is
26 divided by 3. That's their average.
Yeah.
You do the math.
Quick math. Hold on, I'll get it.
Are you gonna get
back to me in 5 minutes? And
what?
I haven't figured out. I promise. Well, it's like 27. Wait, divided by 3. Does that work? Oh no, it's 9.
9-ish.
8.8.
Good
I'm
math.
going to say 8.8.
Good math
Chat,
right there.
you can confirm.
Chat's busting out their calculators right now.
It's fine. 8.8 average. And when you get the averages, that's when that total power rank number really makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
Because if you look at Northeast and you look at Midwest, their averages are around 4. Really great power rank.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, MDVA, what are they going to pick? Duke's got the info for us. Let us know, Duke. Who are they drafting in the second round?
The second round pick for MDVA, the 18-year-old from Texas, enjoys cooking and billiards. It's not an alpaca, it's I'm Llama.
Okay, I'm Llama.
There
This makes
it
sense
is.
now. This was the next highest seeded 1v1 player in this whole draft. So it totally makes sense that they'd go with him. It's not an alpaca, it's a llama. I love that intro.
Yeah.
Duke's killing it.
And
oh my God.
we finally have all the top 5 players in this draft pool have been drafted. Much to my surprise, I was calling out that all 5 were going to be gone in round 1, but it took until over halfway in round 2 for I'm Llama to finally get picked up.
There was some spicy meta picks there, but Alama's a solid choice here. I think this is a great pick. Extremely consistent player. You saw how many top 32 placements he had there. Look at the high placement average that he's got in all these tournaments in 1v1. Llama's a solid pick. Made it into the BCX Invitational last year, into the finals. Let's see, what's your favorite? Too many to list, but some type of soup. He's a soup guy.
Soup guy, yeah.
He's a soup guy.
You
gotta have a soup guy.
He gave
on
a
your
food
team.
genre. That's what I'm saying, right? It's like, I'm a fan of the soup.
The
eating.
whole, all kinds of soups.
Well,
Wonder what his favorite soup is.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find out in an interview further along.
Yeah,
the
that's something that comes up in the next episode, right?
Find out next time.
We know that he likes soup, but what kind of soup?
What kind of soup?
It's
Egg
too
soup?
soon to tell. Eggs. Oh, well.
Everybody likes egg soup.
Anyways, I'm Llama, drafted by MDVA.
Yeah, congratulations
really
to
great pick
MDVA.
from there. This is one of those picks that I'm actually most interested in hearing what the analysis is from TWK right away instead of spitballing it.
Let's find out.
So let's go to it.
TWK, what do you got?
All right, now a lot of folks were expecting I'm Llama to get picked earlier than this, so I mean it's no surprise that they're getting picked up for one of the teams. Now MDVA probably feeling pretty lucky that they were able to snap him up as the second, just because it's a really good flex pick. The 1v1 power rank 16th, 2v2 power rank 25th. On this particular team, since you've already got Stingray, Cody Travis, probably going to be incredibly strong picks for their crew battle singles teams, I think you're going to see I'm Llama mostly fill in that double space. Now, they did just pick up previous round Lil Capped, who I assume they're going to be largely focusing in that double space. Lil Capped and I'm Llama could be a serious 2v2 team. There's just a lot of synergy, and we often see I'm Llama paired with Snipe Socks in the open tournament. Snipe Socks not available here, but that does kind of leave open like a, I don't know, often on those teams where the sum, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So always kind of adding that synergy that elevates everyone, and that seems to be what Lil Cap does as well. So really strong doubles picks throughout round 1 and 2, and that's kind of what I'm expecting from this team. Now, the whole team actually got together and shared their thoughts on I'm Llama, so we're going to give it a listen.
Alright, so I'm Llama, fairly like super new to the scene compared to a lot of players, right? And even though he hasn't had that like big breakout performance yet, I've seen him play and he has super close sets with people like Santi, right? 3-2 against Santi in the last Invitational. And even though that's like barely a loss, I think that's exactly the kind of player we're looking for to fill out these last spots, right? Especially since he plays an unusual character in the Thatch, right? Even though he has the sword and guns everyone knows, the SIGs have really shown up this past like year with people doing like downlight side sig, downlight end sig and stuff, all the big Thatch combos that only Thatch can do. And if he's the best Thatch player out right now, he's doing it the best. So I see him as a potential pickup.
I think Llama's just really good because he purposely plays extremely annoying just like to burn someone out. Like I said, he's like Hardy. He'll just do anything to win. He plays extremely slow. He'll just like play to tilt people. And he is like the Thatch, like Remy said, which is pretty unpredictable. And he just knows all these combos. He says that his SIG usage is also very good, so that's why he's probably a good pick.
No one has seen this, but
all right,
he
so
also
drop it in a little
has a
bit
Lord
of the
Vrax
unexpected. We had Cody in there dropping some little extra bits. But yeah, it seems like a little bit of a dark horse pick, some potential speed bumps to throw in the way of the other teams. I'm curious to see that pan out. Man, some of these picks have gotten kind of crazy. We dipped down really low, all the way down to like number 28 in the draft pool, and now back all the way up to number 25. This is a roller coaster. I have no idea what's coming next. Foda and Taza, what do you think?
So this is interesting. Pick 4 in the draft got options 4 and 5 in the pool. That's when you look at it on paper, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
that they were able to do that well with their drafts, right? Because one team has 2 players from the first row in the draft pool, and that's little captain I'm Llama, and it's also the first instance of a team that may have literally drafted their doubles team. It's very possible that TBK brought that up, that Little Cap could be there in doubles with I'm Llama as an option.
That's true. Yeah, that would make sense, although Llama is very consistent in 1v1 as well.
Yeah.
But the team brought up that I had not considered was the Thatch play. That totally makes sense. In a crew battle situation, you want to hit them with something unexpected, something they're not practiced against. And the Thatch is wild. I mean, everybody in this chat knows Thatch is wild. So that's a pretty solid pick, I think.
There are very, very few players.
That was deeper than I had initially anticipated why they would pick Llama there. That's Remy brought up a very good point with that, with the Thatch, especially the SIGs, all the crazy dash SIGs that you can get off as Thatch.
Yeah.
Like, you just need one of those. You just need one quick surprise SIG in a crew battle. That could be the difference where you get the next opponent in, you know?
Yeah, and Thatch is
That's
particularly
huge.
hard-hitting in the fact that he's a glass cannon, one of the few low-defense legends in the game. And being able to, if you could maneuver around that well in a crew battle situation or anything like that, catch people off guard, it only takes what was it that Ethan was mentioning, or not Ethan, but Remy was mentioning about his placements in recent tournaments like the Invitational, being able to go to Game 5 against some of these players. Where he said that something that I know is a favorite of ours to say is that asterisk that was like, yes, it was a 3-2, but it was close. And that's what he was saying about his performances. It was like, you know what? That's good enough for us. So he's a potential pick, and they ended up getting him. Wow. Yeah, picks 4 and 5 in the draft pool. Go over to MDVA to round out their primary team composition.
Yeah, that definitely works out well for Team MDVA. GG to them.
Yeah.
All right, so which team is next in the pick? Looks like Team Midwest.
This is where it gets interesting. You know what?
I have no idea what they're going to do. Boomy, Wrenched, and Phazon?
I've been saying Isidru and Tiffany every single pick, and I have been surprised every single time. I still am confident that these are the 2 players that are going to be going over to the 2 remaining teams, but we'll have to find out. What do you think about the picks that are coming up last?
Ooh, man. I think they're going to surprise us and go with, like, experience.
What?
I know.
You think so?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Or actually, SCTP Wilson is a solid pick too.
That's true.
Boy, I really don't know. This is tough now. Yeah. We're getting to the point of the draft where anything can happen. So I'm ready to just find out. I'm ready to. Duke, let us know who's Team Midwest's second draft pick.
The second round pick for the Midwest the 19-year-old from Maryland and winter champion. She likes letters instead of vowels. It's Tiffany!
Okay, you're right, Tazo. We got Tiffany in there. Makes sense. Oh my goodness. That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It just makes sense.
Winter champion. Tiffany definitely, Boomy was talking about it before, how you want somebody who can just score an upset. Get the kill when we need to get the kill.
Well,
right?
and Tiffany is, I think, it was the last player, if not one of the last players in this list that really has a gold medal under their belt, right?
That's
being
right.
able to have that
Yeah.
winter championship.
Yeah, Duke said it. Winter champion.
Yeah. We're getting the notable placements coming out recently with the 17th and 25. Always getting into that top 32 section, playing very consistently on the Kaya as well. What are your hobbies outside Brawlhalla? Chess and piano, very sophisticated.
Very
sophisticated.
sophisticated.
I can get behind both of those.
That's high class, right?
As
there.
a piano player, learning, aspiring piano player myself. Well, that's awesome, Tiffany. Being drafted into Midwest. Man, Midwest is looking terrifying. And now that I'm looking at this, honestly, Northeast could get even more scary. If Isidru's free to go into Northeast, and then we've got a team that's got
that's a very high-seeded team.
No,
right there.
of course that would be breaking the S rule of
Oh,
Northeast.
we can't have that.
So we can't have that. But then when I look
that.
at the last two S names, right, Stimpy and Starlight are both really good players. Starlight's got championships under his belt.
They wouldn't really pick another S just for the S, would they? They
Sandstorm. It's Sandstorm.
It's
They
Sandstorm. He
might
might do that. Well, congratulations to Midwest on the pick there. That seems like a solid choice. Tiffany and Zakoi drafted with Boomy, along with Boomy, Wrenched, and Faison.
Yeah, let's
GG
see
to them.
what if there's anything extra that TWK has to add on to that pick as well for Midwest before we get to our last round 2 draft.
Let us know, TWK.
All right, man. Tiffany, just a phenomenal pick. She is a long-standing powerhouse. I mean, the first place in Winter Championships 2018, taken some of those major tournaments, and also always kind of filtering out at that, top 8, top 16, and absolutely amazing performances, and some of those more off-color picks. The Kaya and the 1v1s, and definitely can take people by surprise if you put her in the crew battle situation, and those speed bumps are important. I think this kind of dips into what Boomy was saying about the strategy. You want to pick players that do well against the other top players. You don't want somebody that's a little untested, unproven in that regard. Tiffany definitely checks all of those boxes, and could be an incredible 2v2 pick around a core team that already seems to have some absolutely insane crew battle 1v1 laid down. Boomy, Wrenched, Faison, absolutely. I'm seeing probably even a little bit of flex pick potential, just because Tiffany could be that little bit of a dark horse speed bump, unexpected, but also just a really great solid twos player. What more can you actually say? Now, we've only got one more pick for the round 2 of the draft, and we're heading on back over to Foda and Taza to find out.
Always some good knowledge coming from TWK there. And even though we don't have a clip from the players, we have been told that Tiffany was somebody that they were looking for, that the team was looking for. So.
I really feel like every team has actually gotten the players that they wanted.
For the most part, yeah. I mean,
when we
maybe
look at
Canada
the stratagem that came into it, Canada did, I think.
But then they went with the full Canada play, which maybe they wanted even more.
Maybe that was going to be happening anyways, right? It was kind of win-win for Canada. It's like no matter what West does, if they go for the unthinkable, we're ready.
We still have something cool.
And I have no complaints for Northeast situation. In fact, I think it's amazing looking at the players that are left: Van Thurl, Isidru, STTP, Wilson, Stimpy. I mean, they've
got great picks.
They basically just get to choose whoever they want to flesh out the team. It's just if we had to really. Let's now we're not TWK. We can't play it being at the level of analysis we can provide.
Right.
But if we were really going to think about it, what is Team Northeast missing in their primary lineup that could really, really make their team unbeatable?
Well, I think they obviously have their twos team right now, so they are clearly looking for a third crew battle player, somebody who can clutch it out when absolutely needed, or start. I think they're either looking for somebody to clutch it in the end, or somebody who can start them strong in a crew battle situation. And I want to say that pick is Isidru.
Interesting.
I think so.
Okay.
He's got that. He's got a real spicy play style that'll catch people off guard and can just put them ahead right in the beginning. And if Isidru can put sorry. If Issadrew can put Snowy and Sandstorm in the lead before they even start playing in a crew battle, it's over, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna take it. So
It's curious because
if not Issadrew, somebody else who I'm not considering right now that has a solid chance of going against anybody, even the greatest players, and going even or getting one stock ahead.
So your
I think they want
explanation-
a lead.
Your explanation there actually switched me off of Issadrew, which was originally what it was going to be. But when you described that, I was like, oh, you know who's there that I feel like fits the bill? STTP Wilson, with the largest legend pool, basically. In the game, I'm willing to say I've seen Wilson competitively place on more legends than anybody else that plays Brawlhalla. If you want somebody that's going to be able to provide some weird pick that they could pick tailored to any enemy in a crew battle situation, that could be it.
That's a good point.
But I think Issadrew's really close, and the only way we're going to find out is if we let it go over to Duke to let us know who's going to be the final player drafted in round 2 of the Pro Series draft.
Okay.
The final player drafted in round 2, going to North America with 2600 ELO from Ontario, Canada. They're not a periodic element. It's Zinker!
Wait.
What? Oh, this was okay.
Wow.
Zinker. Oh
off
man,
our radar.
what an unexpected pick. They had so many higher seeds to choose from. Zinker is the big pick for them. PR 37 in 1v1, PR 55 in 2v2. Zinker must be adding something that we are not expecting to the squad. Obviously,
do they think
consistent placements? Look at that. Consistent top 32 placements. That is not easy to do in these giant open tournaments. But I feel like we're missing something, right?
Maybe Northeast thought Canada was getting too strong.
They had to take somebody from Canada.
And
they ruined their full.
That would be the second time that Canada has gotten grief today. Right? That is so. What is your favorite food? Says
Ramen. Oh man, some
is
serious ramen, dude. Ooh.
I'm very happy about this pick for the meta reason that we practiced saying Zinker's name several times in preparation for this.
We
moment,
did.
Right?
It's not Zinker.
For Zinker to get drafted, we know how to cast. Promise. We can say the names of the players correctly. Zinker, congratulations getting drafted.
That's
I am
huge.
so curious.
I think Zinker might have been going through this being like, man, I'm not gonna get drafted.
Right,
and now,
right.
Not even as an alternate. He's on the main squad here.
Wow, that means that there are some names here that I was convinced were going to be on the main squad that are going to be alternates. Names like Issadrew.
You know what? Having a strong alternate that could be a good thing.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
I mean, you don't want an emergency to cause you to have to throw the match, because now you saved. Yeah. This is so still Issadrew could be an alternate pick, and also helping them. Having a player with unexpected tendencies to be your sparring partner in every week leading up to the weekend's competition, that actually could be a strong play. So, okay, Northeast is thinking something we're not thinking. I know we're not thinking of everything. So, TWK, please let us know what you think about this pick here for Team Northeast.
I imagine this has to be filling out that crew battle squad, because why wouldn't you play just Simba Santi in doubles and just take that round win every single week? Who's going to contest you? So Zinker going on with, Sandstorm, Snowy, I think that makes a really solid crew battle team to run through. Now, I'm expecting maybe Zinker to actually be a little bit of their opening. Just a little bit of the unknown thrown out there for whatever team they're going up against, that Sandstorm and Snowy can end up using that information to really drive that win home. So I'm expecting probably a little bit of the first or second position of crew battles for Zinker most weeks going in, whereas Santi and Simba obviously going to be that 2v2 pick. So that does it for round 2, man. Each team just has one more to secure, and unfortunately Team Canada is starting to dry up with potential Canadian picks, man. I want that whole nation team. Foda-Taza, what do you
We all want the full nation team.
I feel like this Pro Series draft has just transformed into can Canada be stopped? That's what I feel like now. I mean, like I could be grief. I could be totally wrong, but I do feel like there's a little bit of like, okay, these teams that are coming up probably want this player, but I mean, we'll see about that, right?
I'm thinking there's something we don't know about Zinker. I think it must be a sleeper pick for these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, Sandstorm must have some confidence in Zinker. Maybe in all of Sandstorm's sparring of top players, maybe he saw something very special in Zinker's gameplay. Like, wait a second, nobody at this PR causes me this much trouble.
Well,
and goes with Zinker.
TWK brought up a great point that I wasn't even considering for a lot of these crew battle matchups, is that by picking your crew battle before the match begins, you can almost guarantee yourself to not get counterpicked from the start if you open up with a player that isn't one of your core teammates, right? Because with Sandstorm and Snowy being reserved for the second and third spot for crew battles, they always open up with Zinker. They're always going to be able to respond if Zinker doesn't even take. Zinker might just win the first 3 stocks, right?
And maybe, right?
Yeah.
And we don't even know. Maybe Zinker's not even their first pick. Maybe Zinker ends up being in 2v2. We have no idea what's going to happen when these teams actually, when it comes down to it, and they pick their positions and lock it in for the week, and then compete on that weekend against the 2 teams that they've got set up. This is going to be interesting. So teams are filling out now. We've got the 5 players. These are the teams that are going to be competing. And now in our final round draft picks, we're going to be finding the alternate players, the players who are there just in case they can swap in with somebody who's having connection trouble or any kind of issues that would prevent them from playing, to avoid having to surrender, forfeit, and that's not good for anybody, right? A team forfeiting, that's going to mess up the points. We want the series to be great. We want it to all make sense, and we can't have a forfeit in there. That would just totally ruin it. So now this final round picks are not just the emergencies, but also who's going to help them spar every week, right?
Right. Because they're going to be there prepared to play in case of whatever may happen all the time. We're going to have these alternates coming in, and I'm looking at the list of available players, and I'm thinking that a lot of these alternates are going to look like really solid picks for the main team. That's what's so crazy about it.
Yeah. There are some major picks that could be coming in for the alternate round.
Wow.
I am very curious as to what it's going to be. Team West will be drafting first. I believe they have it ready. So let's find out from Duke. Team West, who's their alternate pick going to be in the Pro Series? Do we have it ready? Okay, we don't have it ready. Okay, psych out. All right, let's keep the party going.
They're giving us time to figure out who it's actually going to be.
Let's analyze. Okay, for Team West, who's the best person they could pick?
If we were just looking at
Isidru, right? Van Thurl,
Isidru, and I would suppose Zelke or STTP Wilson. Those are the 4. In a nice little box there on the draft pool graphic. Could potentially be the picks coming up for this first alternate pick.
I'm thinking Van Thurl. Well, but I don't know. We need to find out. I think we're ready now. No more false starts. Duke, please let us know who's Team West drafting in this final round.
The first alternate pick for Team West, the 16-year-old from Illinois looking for a Crunchyroll sponsorship. It's Anime Fan 1266.
What?
Whoa!
This is totally unexpected. Anime Fan 1266. How does he say it? 1266? 1266.
It's probably
1266. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. PR 76 in 1v1, but don't pay too much attention to that because PR 32 in 2v2. You definitely want an all-around kind of player for your alternate, right? Because they need to be able to swap in for a crew battle player or a 2v2 player.
Wow, take a look at the notable placements, too. He is on the cusp of being a top 32 at so many events.
Yeah.
33rd so many times. And this is such a cool pick, too, because we were overthinking the alternates a little bit. A lot of teams could just be picking alternates for players that they would like to see really improve or break into those top 32 sections too.
Sure.
And the motivation between all of them could be very interesting.
9th at BCX.
That's a big
let's
deal.
not forget about. I forgot that.
I forgot.
9th at BCX. Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite.
No wonder.
That's quite a huge accomplishment, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're kind of shooting in the dark on what and why. So let's head over to TWK. We'll have some more informed opinions on what's going on here. TWK, what do you think? Let us know.
All right, very strong for an alternate pick when you need more doubles to round out your team. Now, Anime Fan, I know you saw those like top 33, 32 placements for the 1v1 space, but in the doubles space, there's actually some serious experience. The 9th place at the World Championship, 13th place in winter doubles, 13th place in spring doubles. Now, their teammate isn't available in the draft pick here, but they have experience against a lot of those top teams. They ended up fighting against, in the Spring Championship, Santi and Simba, Wubbs and Pierre, who are all available as opponents in this Pro Series. So they have the experience, they've gone up against it before, and, they've got some serious results under their belt. So definitely a strong alternate and someone who can absolutely help them practice for fighting against these top teams. It does look like we've got some word on Zexus and why they chose Anime Fan.
It's going to be Anime Fan 1266. Anime Fan has been on the grind as well and is also just a good all-around pick for 1s and 2s.
All right, they're saying good all-around 1s and 2s, can't go wrong. That's kind of what you need in an alternate. Digging a bit deeper in the draft pool than most people would have expected, but definitely a star on the rise. Now we're going to continue on with these final round of alternate picks. Foda and Taza set us up.
Thanks, TWK. Wow. Yeah, you definitely want an all-around player for your alternate pick because they need to be able to swap in for anybody at any moment. So, wow, yeah, really, that's interesting. Zexus was pretty confident in the Anime Fan pick. He was like, yeah, Anime Fan's the one, all-around pick. We're going to take him. And that's cool. It's a surprise to us because Anime Fan's pretty far down on the list. We're here thinking Van Thurl.
They clearly came in with the,
way
with
up
the
there.
plan, though, having the video prepared and everything, right?
That was part of the plan.
That was definitely like, there was like, all right, and our alternate pick is going to be Anime Fan. They got him, so look at that. Team West now fully fleshed out.
We have the full Team West squad now. How exciting!
Very exciting indeed.
The draft is we're coming towards the end here.
We are.
We're about to know everyone's full team. Team West is set. Team West is absolutely set right now. And what's it going to be for Team Canada? Will they get the full Canada combo? Can they get the full Canada combo? I'm looking at this and I'm not.
I think they can.
I think they can.
But
actually.
it's one of those
will
things.
They?
It's one of those things where I'm like, there's like two
Is it worth
players
it?
that I see where I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're from Canada, but I don't want to say it incorrectly.
No.
So we're gonna rely on Duke.
Let's find out. Duke, please let us know
gonna be
who
Team
is
Canada all
Canada's
around?
final draft pick.
The alternate pick for Team Canada, the 20-year-old from Virginia. Try explaining his Twitter likes to your parents. It's Isidru!
Isidru, okay. This is kind of what we were expecting, but Isidru's kind of the odd man out here. He's on a full Canada squad, and he's not from Canada. Is he gonna be able to hang?
I think so. I'm honestly. I mean,
Of
look at
course.
Isidru
look, even though they're not from the same area, these guys have all traveled the tournament so much together, and they're just homies. So Isidru being on this team, it's not much of a surprise. I bet Pugsy's pretty happy to have Isidru on his team. They're good friends. Isidru being on their team as the alternate is sure to provide a lot for them in terms of practice, in terms of
one of your hobbies outside Brawlhalla, being in the presence of iThrow. Well, obviously they had to draft him, right? There was no way. Man, what a stellar quote for this situation. Isidru,
inseparable.
well,
now.
what a crazy pick to go in for the alternate into round 3.
I think it
of the
makes
draft.
sense with Isidru. I think he's going to provide a lot for them in terms of practice. And if they have to pull the ripcord, Isidru seems like a solid choice to go in either 1v1 or 2v2.
He's in the wrong finger. Isidru and iThrow, they're in the presence of each other right there. He's achieved.
Look at that.
That's his favorite hobby
I did not even consider how important that was in this pick. Obviously they're like, we can't separate iThrow and Isidru. We got to have them on the same team, right?
You know what? I think it was a unanimous agreement between every other team as well. That's why they're
like, hey
so
guys,
far
come on. You can't separate iThrow and Isidru. Come on, guys.
Well, Team
Who
Canada.
knows? Team Canada is all finished up. Look at this. This is the full squad.
Team Canada did a phenomenal job with their draft. Every single pick, I feel like, brought the average, the team seed average, like it got improved dramatically with this entire draft. I mean, even if it wasn't like by numbers, I look at this and I go, this is a solid, well-rounded team of players that I'm used to seeing at tournaments all throughout the years.
They're definitely going to be a crowd favorite. I mean, you got Crocky in there, you got Pugsy in there, you got Isidru in there. People love these guys. Costa's got a huge fan base. Meg D has just generated a huge fan base in the past 3 months. So this is a solid team, man. I am really excited for Team Canada. I love seeing these filled out grabs. Look how wonderful this is.
Plus, it's true.
In fact,
production, we're gonna. I mean, not now, but we need to modify this graph. Whereas Team Canada, it ends and then it says plus is true.
Plus is true.
He's still on Team Canada, but man, it would have been cool to have. 5 out of 6 is pretty good. And if you look at it, if we're gonna argue semantics, the core team is technically all
Canadian.
It
certainly is. Yeah, and we're gonna stick with that
draft. Wow, awesome draft for Team Canada. We're going on to our next team. Wait.
No, we're not.
Now we both done it.
Now you forgot.
It's best of 3.
TWK, I didn't forget about you. I am very curious to see what you think about this one. TWK, give us the expert
analysis.
analysis.
See if he can do a better analysis than us. Yeah.
All right, this is definitely, continuing on with the picking number 1 in your hearts. It's definitely going to be the homie squad. You've got Crocky chilling out, Pugsy, Isidru, Ithro. Everybody's chilling on that team. They're huge fan favorites. And I mean, Isidru has been in this game for such a long time. I don't know if you peeped those earnings as the stats were going by, but $20,000 in earnings, that does not come just from a couple placings here and there. Like, he has been around for a long time. Tons of tournaments, tons of results, and even just in the Winter Championship, teamed with Pugsy. So it just kind of makes sense to be there as an alternate in, for the people that you've teamed with before. You've got the experience with them, you hang out with them, you're very interpersonal, and you just kind of have that rapport, whether it's in your communications or in your gameplay. So, incredibly strong pickup. I really was expecting Isidru to be picked by some team along the way, coming in at number 7 on the draft pool rankings. So that makes absolute sense, and it seems like we're actually going to have a couple words from Kosalix as to how that all works out.
Number 8 is Isidru, one of the most consistent Brawlhalla players of all time, proven himself to be a great asset, especially in 2v2. Him and Cody Travis took Boomy Sandstorm to Game 10 at final round. Like, that is a crazy accomplishment, and we saw so much success even after that with Remy, so it would be great to have him on our roster.
Yeah, absolutely makes a ton of sense. Longtime player. Now it's just the question of what are the other teams going to fill out with in their own alternate slots. Foda and Taza, take us away.
Thanks, TWK.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, those were some great words from Koslix. I forgot all about Final Round 2019. How could we casted that match?
Yeah.
That was me and him casting that match.
Well,
after we had just won a different tournament, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. Well, if you
that
look
was
at
such an exciting match,
Yeah,
and
great.
I forgot about Remember Isidru being in grand finals of almost every 2v2 tournament?
Yeah.
Of course, it's a super solid pick.
And there are even more results on top of that, considering that TBK did bring up the earnings that Isidru's had over his lifetime career in Brawlhalla, getting over 20,000, right? Like, just an incredible player. And once again, just a testament to how great the players on here that he made all the way to round 3 of the draft, right? But looking at Team Canada, they got it. And yes, of course, TBK shattered our analysis where we were just kind of like, oh, they're best buds. Of course,
that
right? But there were some very good reasons behind it as well.
Yeah.
So Team Canada finishes out there with an incredibly strong draft, in my opinion. As now we're actually moving on to the next draft.
Okay, yeah, now
that we've got word from TWK.
We got Team South coming up next for their final draft pick. They still have some big names to choose from. Van Thurl, I'm thinking, might be a big one for them. Zelke, Wilson, Hazen. Or are they going to go down towards the bottom of the list? Are they going to go with someone like Exo or Glue, Experience? Can't be anime fan. Starlight is also, let's not forget, Starlight is a 2v2 world champion. Now, the game was very different back in 2016, and Starlight has been in and out of competing, but it seems like every time he comes back, he's a top 8 contender no matter what, with any amount of recent practice under his belt. he's a contender. So maybe Starlight for the pick. This really could be anybody. I have no good prediction here. Hazen. I'm gonna say Hazen.
I'm gonna say Wilson.
Okay.
And it's pretty close, honestly.
And we might both be very wrong.
They're in the same row.
Oh, Wilson. Wilson actually. That seems like a good pick. Noel and Wilson. They teamed. And
as a fan of these offline events, I would love to see Dark Ghoul picked up just because his Taros made such a splash.
His Taros. You're talking about
streams.
crew battles. He's capable of gimping somebody big time.
I've seen Dark Ghoul take stocks in dramatic fashion against some of the best players
without barely taking any damage.
Yeah,
so
that's
that
interesting.
could prove
crazy.
Very helpful in a crew battle. Well, we're just going to have to find out. Do we have the draft pick ready? Oh, I'm not sure if we have it ready. I'm going to keep talking until somebody comes and tells us we have the draft pick ready. Could be we have the draft pick ready.
We've got it ready. Let's go. Duke, who's it going to be for
Tell
Team
us.
South?
The alternate pick for Team South. From New York at 13 years old, making him the youngest top player, the esports baby, Experience!
Oh!
Wait, that's awesome!
Okay. I was talking about this. Experience. Experience is kind of a big deal, right? Experience is he's on the cusp of the meta so often. He discovers things that he teaches other top players about, and then they go on to use it in a more successful fashion. But he's got that knowledge. He's got that experience.
Well, so what's crazy to me that I did not consider, right, is how young he is compared to the rest of the scene, how much more room he has to grow coming up, right? Because remember at the beginning of Brawlhalla Esports, Boomy was around the same age, 13 or 14, and he has grown to such a dominant top player, and being able to be on a team as great as Team South going into the first Pro Series is awesome. One of his proudest accomplishments in Brawlhalla here, beating pros and placing 13th in ones, which was his one top 32 placement that we saw there, which is an incredible opening up to what is a very early Brawlhalla career.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's a great pick for him. And you bring up a good point. It's when we first met Boomy, he was 13.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it was a while ago. It's
I would say
now,
Experience is just with the nature of how the meta has evolved. Experience at 13 is leagues and bounds beyond what Boomy was at 13. Who knows what Experience can grow into? And this is certainly going to be some good experience. I don't mean to keep making that word play.
Listen, we've cast it simple and EU enough, all right? I think it's fine.
He's keeping it simple.
Sometimes there's just it's great.
It just works so well. Yeah. Experience. I think that's a great pick. TWK, what do you think about this pick?
All right, this is definitely a little bit unexpected just by the nature of being number 35 in the draft pool rankings, kind of all the way down at the bottom of the list, but it can actually be an incredibly strong pick. Now, we've seen those results as the stats were playing through. 25th in Winter 2v2, 13th in Spring 2v2, so incredibly strong doubles play, but that's not all. You also get the experience of playing against a ton of the pros. That 13th in Mammoth Cup didn't come cheap. He actually had wins over Remy and Wubbs, who are on other teams throughout this Pro Series. So an incredibly good swap-in should the need arise, who's actually gone toe-to-toe and proven themselves against these other top players. So definitely sets them in a strong position should the need arise for the alternate, and is definitely one of the best training partners you could ever ask for. So it looks like that does round it out for their team. Man, Team South looking pretty nice. A lot of strong flex positions, but that's not all. We've got more picks coming up. Back to Foda and Taza.
All right, TWK, you're right, man. This is a good team. Look at this fleshed out team here. Let's go. I love seeing it. We got, man, this is so professional. We got all these pictures. We got these graphics, animations in the background. Come on, this is awesome.
I'm very impressed as well by the strategy that has been unveiled by a lot of these teams with their draft as well. And that was the same thing with the parallel choice there. And then TWK, of course, the expert analysis on Experience being picked up, and the fact that Experience does have those wins over some of the core team members over two of the other teams.
That's a very, very good point that TWK brings up with that. He really does have the experience. That's the last time I'm going to do that.
No, it's the first of many times. It's just going to keep happening. And as experience continues
He's
to
a
play
well-rounded
out,
player, and you want a well-rounded player for your alternate. So that totally makes sense. That's very interesting. Okay.
We're halfway through.
We're halfway through.
Halfway through the last round of the draft.
Whew,
3
it's
teams are
coming
left.
to an end,
MDVA,
guys.
Midwest, and Northeast. MDVA is up next.
Yeah, I wonder what they're going to pick.
Who are they going to pick?
What's the play for MDVA?
Wonder no longer. Duke is going to be summoned, and he's going to tell us and everybody else who's going to be the last pick for this region.
Okay.
The alternate pick for MDVA from Pennsylvania at 36 years old, making him the oldest in the draft. Let's get straight to the point. It's STTP Wilson.
Oh, okay. We were
There it
talking
is.
about Wilson as an alternate pick. Totally makes sense.
You know, this is
I
so
love
interesting.
how. Let's get straight to the point.
We
Did
went-
you know that STTP that stands for straight to the point?
Yeah. But it's so super fascinating. We went from the youngest player of the draft to the oldest player of the draft back to back.
Yeah.
And that has absolutely no meaning other than that it's a fun fact.
It's a fun fact.
Yeah, Wilson.
Yeah, when it comes to
has-
video games, it turns out it just doesn't matter how
Yeah,
old you are.
it does not. Yeah. But Wilson been with the scene since the beginning. And I was talking about this a lot earlier. Has one of the largest largest legend pools when it comes to playing Brawlhalla competitively. Have you won any IRL competition sports events?
Let's go. Okay, Wilson, look at that. Yeah, but I don't like to brag. I wonder what all these other things he won
I'm here
was.
for the Brawlhalla winning.
Look, honestly, I have played games with STTP Wilson back in the day, long before Brawlhalla, and he is a god tier player in many other games. So he's being humble there, but let me just brag on him for a second. He is epic, and I'm not even surprised that he's getting drafted right now. But maybe TWK has some better thoughts on it for us. TWK, what do you think about the STTP Wilson pick here for MDVA?
This is absolutely a pick that I think a lot of people were expecting to pop up somewhere along the draft process. Coming in rank number 12 as far as the draft pool goes, puts him within the expected numbers, and there's just such a long-running history for STTP Wilson in Brawlhalla tournaments. Now, in recent doubles, you see those placements of 25th in Winters, 25th in Spring, so it's a little bit less than some of his previous placings, but man, that is a high bar to come across because let's not forget, he has taken a spring championship, a summer championship, an autumn championship, all in first place, claiming those gold trophies. So as an alternate, he's an incredibly strong player. You can place him in the doubles, you can place him in the singles. He knows how to dismantle players. So he just suits himself really well to an event like the Pro Series. So I'm expecting, should the need arise where they need an alternate, Wilson is going to be one of the best. And it looks like, yeah, that does round it out for their team. Alternate locked in, Team MDVA. Let's take a look at the full squad.
MDVA. Check these guys out. You got the full squad here. This is a good looking squad, man. You got Big Bite. Oh, that's all you need.
You have a
You just
multiple
need Big Bite
tournament.
in there.
You have a multiple tournament winner as your alternate. That's how strong this team is.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. TWK was bringing it up, but he won 3 different seasonal championships.
Yep. Yeah. That's
And those were all online competitions. And this is an online Pro Series.
I mean, honestly, that means that anybody of their team, if they end up having to use their alternate, it could potentially just get stronger. Like that. That's how great that
kind of
draft
crazy.
is.
Yeah, you got a player that strong as your alternate. Like, oh, it's an emergency. We need to bring in a player who's almost just as good as any of our other guys. That's exactly what you need. They really, GG MDVA. They really got something good going on there. So that does it. MDVA's team is fully equipped now, and there are only two more drafts.
Midwest and Northeast. It's Boomy's team and Sandstorm's team, basically. They
I
can't.
wonder.
They're for the first time in a long time not being able to be on the same team for a competition, fighting against each other head to head in this Pro Series. Eventually,
That's
what
gonna
are going
spice
to
it
be
up.
their last draft picks coming here? Because all the obvious picks have really been taken away, I think. And
Yeah.
at this point, they're going to be picking somebody that I feel like either
Blue guys?
Blue guys would be interesting.
Blue guy seems like a good pick.
I'd love to see the Rayman more, honestly. That would be so sick.
Yeah,
Impala is a possible pick as well. Stimpy's up there. We're really just going to have to leave it up to Duke to let us know who's going to be.
We cannot possibly know. Duke, please let us know who's the final draft pick for Team Midwest.
The alternate pick for Team Midwest, the 24-year-old from Indiana training to be a pilot. It's a BCX champion. It's Starlight!
Oh, okay.
We're continuing the reign of tournament winners being the alternate at this point, right?
That is
Starlight.
crazy. He's literally a 2v2 world champion, and he's the alternate pick here for Team Midwest. This is a smart pick. I thought they were just going to go with the next highest seeded team. But, Boomy's definitely, we heard his thoughts earlier. He is of the mind that we need people who can cause upsets, not people who consistently place well.
Right.
He's looking for killers. And Starlight, that's a great pick. For an alternate, he can do 1v1 or 2v2. Let's see what he's got to say here. Some interesting things about you. We already heard he's training to be a pilot. That's pretty interesting. But competitive laser tag, what? That's dope.
He's gotten good enough to be asked to join a team that travels all over the world to compete in events. I mean, you're already traveling to compete in other events, and now you're here at Brawlhalla, the Pro Series.
Well, he's just a world-class competitor no matter what he's doing. Competitive laser tag. That sounds so cool.
That sounds dope.
We're gonna,
awesome.
We gotta find out. I hope. Do they get streamed? I want to see that.
I mean, we've seen some pretty cool competitive anything at the DreamHacks.
I love competitive. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, competitive. It was competitive airsoft.
Airsoft,
we
yes.
saw.
Yeah, that was,
we were getting hit with
it was raining BBs
while we're casting.
That was a thing. Well, I mean, anyone
that
was
fun.
A DreamHack.
That is so cool. Competitive laser tag. Yeah. Let's go. Training to be a pilot and the alternate for Team Midwest in the Brawlhalla Pro Series.
You know, the Brawlhalla esports legacy, right? Us being here since the beginning.
Yeah.
I have to remember. It's not actually baffling that Isidru, Wilson, and Starlight are alternates.
The alternates are like royalty. They're grabbing esports royalty for their alternate pick.
It's actually either been royalty or up and coming to the extreme. It's been one or the other, and that's honestly the best thing to do for an alternate pick, because you're going to have either somebody that's bringing out stuff that you've never seen before, potentially can make the upsets, or somebody who's proven that they can win before and can also do the same thing. So great strategic picks all around. And now we are going to TWK. To talk about that pick right there and then. TBK, what do you have to say about this?
Yeah, so this one a little further down in the draft pool than you may think, rocking in at number 31 for the draft pool rankings, but the historic rankings, absolutely insane. A former 2v2 world champion, massive 2v2 wins, and listen, when you're playing laser tag, you got your team with you. When you're playing WoW Dungeons, like he was rank 1 healer for a while, you got your team with you. Even when you're flying an aircraft, you want to have a good co-pilot. And now we've just solidified that there is the potential for the doubles team of Tiffany and Starlight. They've always been consistently teaming against each other. So now, if the need for an alternate arises, we're definitely going to see that lock in with Tiffany and Starlight playing in the doubles space there. Starlight definitely has the experience against all these top players, just being in the scene for so incredibly long, always placing in a ton of top 8s for these major tournaments. So going in with Boomy's strategy of, hey, you want people that have proven themselves against the other pro players, Starlight again checks all of those boxes. Now I'm curious to see what other words Boomy has about this pick, and it looks like we've got a little bit of a clip.
And yeah, and then our sub, we're looking at Starlight probably. We want somebody who's flexible, who can play 2s or 1s at an acceptable level. Obviously, if we had the opportunity to pick someone like Simba as a sub or like Luna as a sub, we'd love to, but those players are not going to be available to us. So yeah, that's what we're thinking right now. I don't know if this was supposed to be this long or if I was supposed to go in more detail, but yeah. Thank you for inviting me to do this. Bye.
See you, Boomy. Yeah, if only you could pick a first or second round draft pick as your alternate. No, Starlight definitely fills out that team in incredible fashion. I want to see who's the full squad rocking for Midwest.
Oh man, Booby was making me laugh there. I try not to laugh. I know our mics are hot. People are hearing me laugh about that one. Booby's he's being silly. This is a great pick for them. And apparently, according to plan, Booby saw the future. He was like, "We're not gonna have this guy. We're not gonna have that guy.
Yeah.
Who's our best pick? Starlight. He's an all-around player. He's gonna be able to do ones or twos. He'll be able to fill in when there's an emergency. Also, he's just kind of a champion, right? We didn't even TWBK talked about it for a moment, but he's a top WoW player too. And I know what you're thinking. Top WoW player. Everybody's a top WoW player. No. Seriously, he was legitimately the farthest progressed in the world at a point in time. Him and his team,
wow,
they were on top. They were the leading, and that's serious competition. It's happening over like many servers and stuff. He's actually it's like no matter what he's doing, whether it's laser tag or WoW or Brawlhalla or whatever the heck else he's getting into, he's just one of those guys that gets to the top. If he's gonna spend his time doing it, he's gonna be really great at it. So that's a solid pick for Team Midwest. So we've come to the moment here, Taza.
Yep.
The final pick for the entire draft, the whole Pro Series. There is one more draft pick left. It's for Team Northeast. We have no idea. Although I'm kind of thinking Van Thurl, but we have no idea.
That's right. Van Thurl's actually still.
He's so high seated.
Whoa. That now that you said that, I feel like that's going to be it. But I'm going to. No, okay, you're right. It's Van Thurl.
You're just gonna go.
Okay,
well,
I was gonna say something else.
Let's see if we're right. I know the draft pick is ready. Duke, give us the final draft pick for the Pro Series, please.
The final draft pick for the North American Pro Series, going to Team Northeast, the 23-year-old from Alabama with 783 hours on Taros. He can't spell ghoul. It's Dark Ghoul.
Oh no, I was gonna say Dark Ghoul. I was gonna say it and I doubted it. Oh man, I can't say that. I can't say it.
Yeah, I don't believe you. You're lying.
I missed my opportunity.
No, I
I'm
believe
very
you.
excited about that because we were talking about Dark Ghoul's potential as an alternate earlier on in the draft, specifically because he has proven at a lot of these offline events that he can just randomly delete stocks off of anybody.
Which is exactly what you want in a crew battle. I'm not sure how he is in 2v2, but if he ends up needing to sub in for a crew battle player, they're going to be just fine with Dark Ghoul on their team.
Northeast is absolutely killed it with the draft.
Steak. Favorite food, steak. a refined man here.
Yeah.
Woo! Man, Dark Ghoul rounding out the Pro Series. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We have all of our teams all set for the North American Pro Series. Congratulations to Team Northeast. This is looking like a real solid team here. I can't believe they got the Simba pick. That is huge for Team Northeast.
Let's see, with the Dark Ghoul pick rounding it out, if there's any final details that TBK has to say about the finalized roster of Team Northeast now that we finished round 3 of the drafts.
Man, definitely one of the most exciting picks you could put on a team. I just have a giant smile on my face because, Dark Ghoul has come out to all these in-person events, put up some serious results, let everybody know, hey, I'm in this game and I can actually do some damage. So a great pick, I think, personally, even if some of the other ones may have been a little bit better by the numbers, in something like the Pro Series, you need that unpredictableness. And he's got the personality, the flavor, absolutely phenomenal. Always finishing kind of just outside top 16. So again, another that you're really just expecting, hey, they can definitely go toe-to-toe with anyone in this Pro Series should the need arise. So I'm just really happy to see that. And you know what? Post them up on the board. Let's see that full squad again.
The final round draft picks here. Check it out. That's a good. I can't believe such big players here.
Yeah.
Just as an alternate, just in case we have top players in the wings ready to rock. That's awesome. Well, congratulations to all of these guys and to the teams for some mighty fine draft picks, man. That was good.
I really must say I can't be happier with how this draft played out from all the teams. I honestly felt like that's what's so exciting about having a draft in general, right? It's like we didn't invent the draft, but having it work here in Brawlhalla Pro Series and seeing how seriously each one of these teams took it in terms of the strategy that they employed all the way to the alternate, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like those were, maybe it was cleverly rused, but those weren't live interviews, right? The players,
that was
Boomy had decided on that alternate long before we got there, and they were able to get it, and that just shows how mindful they were about the players that they thought were going to get drafted by other teams, and how they're able to round up the team that they had with the resources they had.
That was kind of like the first round of the Pro Series, because they were competing against each other in some way today. They had to make different decisions based on the decisions that other teams made before them, and now with the decisions they've made today, they are locked in to these teams. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pro Series for North America, this is it. Team West on the lowest seed, then Team Canada, Team South down there in the bottom right, Team MDVA, Midwest, Northeast. Look at all these guys. You're getting a lot right here. The North American Pro Series. Ladies and gentlemen, I love seeing this. Is a great graphic.
An exciting draft.
Let's make that. I think we should change our Steam offline image to that, or our Twitch offline image to that. I don't know. We got to put that everywhere. We're going to tweet it out like immediately.
And for those that may have just discovered the Pro Series today, right, this isn't just like a draft. We're like, all right, we had our fun, right? No, all of July is going to be the Pro Series every weekend. We might as well make it the offline graphic because that's what it's going to be all about for
it's going to be,
month.
Our whole world is now Pro Series until July is over, basically. So the draft is done. And we have a 2-week period of time here with no competition, while these teams are going to have an opportunity to practice again together, strategize, and prepare themselves. And then we, on the production side, are going to have time to prepare some really great stuff now that we know all of these players. So for the next 2 weekends, we'll be quiet. But July 10th starts the action. Every team is going to fight on every day of every weekend in July, starting on July 10th. Not the July 3rd and 4th weekend. That's free. Enjoy your holiday, right? But on Saturday, July 10th, the Pro Series begins, and every team fights, right? They play once every day. They know who their matchups are. They know who they're going to be playing. We will all know who they're going to be playing, and we'll report on that in the Monday Esports Dev streams on every Monday, as well as reporting the players' positions. They have to lock in their player positions on the Monday of every week.
Right.
And they're locked in for that whole week. Every team will know who everybody else is playing and in what positions. And then they'll be able to use that time to practice, strategize, whatever. And then Saturday and Sunday, they're going to play their 2 games, right? Who we all know ahead of time. Every team fights each other. And then as we get towards the very end of it, the semifinals will basically be the number 2 and number 3 teams, as not seed wise, but performance wise throughout the entire event. And then the final event, July 31st, will be the final super final ultra event happening, and that's going to be the rank 1 team versus the winners of the semifinals. There's $50,000 at stake for these players. This is such a unique competition. I'm so excited about this. This is going to be so cool. The players are excited about this. This whole thing was designed hand in hand with the players that are competing in it right now.
Yes.
So congratulations to all of these teams. Everybody who made it into the draft here, congratulations. This is huge. And boy, that's it, huh? That was our first draft stream.
Yes,
They've never done this before. That was pretty cool. Thank you all for being on this adventure with us. Pretty cool, right? I can't wait for the next one. The draft format, this is turning out to be really cool. We'll see how it all shakes out in the Pro Series. Remember, July 10th, it all gets started. And it is now time for us to wrap this up.
Yes,
Taza,
it
do you have
is.
any closing thoughts?
My closing thoughts are all of the awesome information that you just heard Voda talk about. If it was too much to process at once, you can go to brawlhalla.com/esports to learn about what just happened, how it's happening, and then over the next week or two, it will be updated with all of the information about the Pro Series that you just watched over on this stream. So don't worry about it if you missed out on some of it. It's been an incredibly exciting time, Voda. This draft was amazing, and there were so many surprises when it came to the picks that the teams had, and I just couldn't be happier with it.
Yeah, this is turning out to be really, really great. North American Pro Series, let's go. It's going to be awesome. That's it for us today, guys. Thank you all so much for joining us. Catch us on the next Esports Dev stream. We're going to talk all about what happened today. We'll see you around next time. Goodbye.
Bezo.